Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 114. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and more. Today, we are talking about Nintendo, Twitch, Summer Games Fest, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Across the Spider-Verse, and more. So first, as always, we're going to start with our recent activities. I will let Damian go first because I actually been doing some stuff lately, and then we'll get into the news and everything else.
Yeah, so, the last 2 weeks I have finally beaten Tears of the Kingdom. Took me 100 hours. But, like I said in the last podcast, the cool thing about these new Zelda games is that they can really be as long as you want them to be. Like, obviously, I think this game is not as freeform as Breath of the Wild was in terms of, like, as soon as you beat tutorial, you could just, like, go fight, like, Calamity Ganon. Like, I don't think you could do that in this game. I don't know. Maybe some speedrunner did. I don't know. But it's still probably like at least 20-ish hours if you want to do the whole thing, I would imagine. Like you still want some heart containers to like do stuff because the game is actually kind of like difficult like in the beginning because enemies just hit really hard. But once you get to the end game, like you'll be fine. Also have like a shit ton of hearts by the end. So but yeah, just to give you the scale of how big this game is, it took me 100 hours to beat it, and I mostly beat it because so many other games were coming out, and I had to kind of just wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I was able to do all of the sky, so all of the sky was done. I've done all the shrines, which is 152 shrines now. It used to be 120. But I barely touched any of the side quests. Like I did a few, but there's so many more I had to do. There's so many different cave systems I haven't explored. I only explored maybe 30% of the underground. So yeah, the game is fucking massive. And I would love to go back later, maybe when the year is not as busy with games, to like go back and maybe explore more of those areas. Cause there's just so much content in this game. And I feel like a lot of it is worth seeing as well. But I'm pretty satisfied to where I stopped. I want to at least do all the shrines and stuff and like explore the Sky Islands. And I'm happy I did that. But yeah, man, overall, I think the game is fucking really, really good. I think the game really does deserve all the 10 out of 10s it's been getting because it just makes Breath of the Wild look like shit in comparison, which is crazy. Because like I said before, Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game. I love it. But everything Tears of the Kingdom does just straight up improves from that game, from like the amount of freedom you have, from the actual content in the game. Like I feel like the dungeons are like straight up just better. Again, like I said before, it's still not as good as a traditional Zelda dungeon, yes, but I think they are a lot better than Divine Beasts were. The story I thought was a lot better as well. Again, you're mostly still viewing it from memories and stuff, so the story still feels kind of disconnected from like what's actually happening because everything happened like forever ago from like from this narrative standpoint. But man, some of those moments are really great. Like getting the Master Sword in this game is like one of like the best getting Master Sword moments in any Zelda game. It's very good. Same thing with the end. Like it was fantastic ending. Just everything about like the final moments of the game were really well done. But yeah, basically everything I said before, like, I think Ultra Hand is like an absolutely amazing concept of a game mechanic. Like just being able to make any vehicles or whatever contraptions you want by just gluing it together. Again, it's such a complex mechanic, but it feels so intuitive and easy to use. Like, I don't know how they did it. And it was something I was kind of skeptical at first. Cause I'm like, why would I just why make a boat when I could just swim over it? But I don't know. It's just fun to do that. And it is faster in the end. Like you could make some really creative stuff with Ultra Hand and all the other abilities too. I just so well designed. Like Ascend is like such a simple ability. Like you just go up any surface, but it comes in handy with so many situations. Same thing with Rewind. Like rewinding things has so many implications that you can just do so much wacky shit. Like there's so many puzzles you can just break by having one piece of wood. You could like make it go up with Ultra Hand, make it go down, rewind it, and just use it as a fucking elevator. Like it's insane the amount of out-of-box thinking this game could let you do while still having straightforward solutions. So yeah, I think it brings everything from Breath of the Wild that was good in that game and just elevates it to like 10. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is amazing. It's definitely probably my game of the year, which is crazy because again, this year is insane. I mean, the two other games I'm going to talk about are like also like fantastic games, but yeah, it really shows that Tears of the Kingdom really does elevate itself above the rest, and I definitely think it's worth a play if you're like into Zelda, just open world games. So yeah, it's really good. that's all I gotta say on Tears of the Kingdom. So the next game I played and I have beaten is Diablo 4. So I basically just want to just rush through the main story, not rush through the main story, but just get it done so I could like do end game stuff since that's where most of the bulk of the game is. And you can't really do much until the story is done anyway, so I just might as well just do it now. And yeah, Diablo 4 and Blizzard in general have been, met with a lot of skepticism and stuff. Blizzard's not been in a great place over the last few years. But I will say, I think Diablo 4 is definitely one of the best games they made, probably since Overwatch 1. That's probably the last project that I was really excited for from Blizzard was Overwatch 1 back in 2016 at this point. It's just very polished. This is a very polished game. I ran into no bugs, and I played about 20-ish hours of this game already. No bugs. The game runs fantastic on PC. I've noticed no slowdown, no nothing. The servers have been okay. I'm surprised. This one you might get different opinions on, but I definitely feel like the servers feel good. I didn't really feel, I haven't been disconnected really at all. The queue times have been kind of non-existent. The game has gone down for maintenance a few times, but it has been pretty smooth. I've been playing, a lot of these online MMOE type games for a while now, and this has been a pretty smooth launch in my opinion. So yeah, all of that stuff is fantastic. All the tech stuff has been really good. And the game itself is also really good. I think some of the things could be better. I think some of the skills and stuff, a lot of the builds feel a little boring at the moment. There's not a lot of build diversity at the moment. Again, I'm a pretty, I play a lot of Diablo, but I'm not a hardcore theory crafter type guy. So I won't be able to tell you all the ins and outs and stuff. But it does seem, even from my novice perspective, I feel this does seem a bit simple. You're basically using the same few skills throughout the whole game, and then you just keep adding modifiers to them and stuff. So I definitely feel that side of the game could be a bit better. But in terms of the actual gameplay, I think it's great. It does a great middle ground between Diablo 2 and 3, where it's not as insane with the enemy density. You don't feel as godlike in Diablo 3, but and it's not as slow as Diablo 2. It's a great balance of the two. Where it's there's a lot of enemies, but it's not too overwhelming like 3 was, and you don't feel as strong as you did in 3. You do need to be more careful. I have died a lot more in this game than I ever did in Diablo 3. So yeah, I've just been having a really good time with the game so far. The story was actually good as well. Diablo 3 story was whatever. I really didn't give a shit about it. I feel it just wasn't very good. This game is also not it's not the most amazing story or anything, but it definitely has me hooked a lot more than 3 did. I think the narrative having more focus on a group of characters works for its advantage. It still goes through a bunch of lore stuff, but the game does a great job explaining all the different lore elements if you don't know what this means. They throw out a term and what the fuck does that mean? You can just ask the characters hey, what does this thing mean? And then they tell you pretty simply. And since the game is a live service game at the end of the day, the game does leave a lot of it leaves a nice cliffhanger, but it still feels like a complete story, which is nice. So yeah, I'm just excited to see how the game goes from here in terms of its live service model. And I just feel there's enough content in this base game to be worth the money as well. It's not most live service games when they come out and there's literally nothing to do. I definitely feel this game has its $70 worth of content in it, because the open world is humongous and I barely even explored it. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with Diablo 4 so far. Definitely the best Blizzard game in a while. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And Street Fighter 6, I played only a little bit of it because I was mostly focused on Diablo 6. Diablo 4, sorry.
All good.
I played a little bit of World Tour. Again, super fun. It's just really stupid to make your character and you can just beat the shit out of random people on the street. I love that so much. I just really like dumb story modes and fighting games a lot. So this game is really, really giving me a good time with that. I played a little bit of online, got my ass kicked. You know how it is. But yeah, the game so far is really good. I can't really say too much about it because I still need to play a lot more of it. But really excited to play more of it. I think the game looks great. The World Tour mode, I'm very excited to play more of. And yeah, that's all I've been doing. Again, as you can see, a lot of big fucking games, man. A lot of big games.
Yeah, and we got more coming soon.
Yeah.
But what have I been doing recently? So first thing is The Idol. The Weeknd's show on HBO Max is their next biggest show or whatever. It was released a few weeks ago on the review side of things that it's going to be really fucking bad. And I'm okay, well, this is Abel, aka The Weeknd's first adventure into, I guess, TV and just acting in general, from my understanding. I know he's been in a few other movies or TV shows or whatever, but it's his project. So, exactly how bad it is, I mean, it's pretty bad, I'll be honest. Just from the first episode, it's stuff's happening, right? Stuff's going on with this girl who's famous or whatever, and she's a pop singer, I think. I'll be honest, I was half paying attention first up, and that's because a lot of the characters are just doing things, but there's not a reason to care or be invested into what they're doing. They're just doing it, and I'm just okay, well, she's taking photos and like her tits are out or whatever. And I'm like, is there a reason for this? And it goes into like, you know, she wants to like own her body. And then there's like things that like they have to go through to like actually make that like a thing or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And like some weird stuff is happening, like some like kinky stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this show? Like, honestly, it's the fact that like I'm not invested into like any of these characters, and the show doesn't really make it a point to be invested into the dialogue or like anything that's really going on, that I'm just like, the show's bad. So
right.
Hopefully it gets better. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep watching it, because my girlfriend Emma, she was like, we have to watch this, and I was like, all right. And like within like the first 5 to 10 minutes, it's just like stuff's going on. Don't really know what's going on, but it's going on. So
right.
But after that, we watched Parasite. This is one of the best movies ever fucking made. I watched this movie when it literally won like Best Picture and like all of those awards, like literally that day. Then that night they won everything. I was like, yeah, well fucking deserved. This is a Korean movie that is just really good. Like honestly, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but if you love stories and you want to see one done really, really well and have an amazing third act, this is one of them. I don't want to talk about it too much because it is a pretty old film and pretty much everyone knows Parasite's really fucking good. So, and the director's next film is coming out early next year, I believe. According right now, it's the same day as Across the Spider-Verse is coming out, which is March 29th, 2024. So, yeah, but we'll see how his next film plays out, because I know what's it called? Fucking Robert Pattinson is in that or whatever. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So, but the next film I watched was Nice Guys. This is a really underrated film. It's a comedy, but it's also a movie about just like two detectives trying to solve a case together, but they're both like obviously very different. You have Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe playing the main two actors, and the comedy is just spot on, fantastic, amazing. It's directed by Shane Black, who, to nerds out there, he directed Iron Man 3, which may be your least favorite Iron Man movie, but that is my favorite, just because of the way that he directs and the way that he puts action into the films. Like when you watch Iron Man 3, like whenever a action scene happens, there's a purpose to it, and that's the same thing within Nice Guys. It is a action film, but also it's a comedy. It's also has a very good story, very much like, you know, when they find out stuff, you're finding out about it at the same time. So that's like where the fun of this movie comes in. People really want a sequel for it, which I am fucking down with, because this is a once in a lifetime sort of like film that really comes out that's like, you know, sort of underrated, but it's really, really good. And like, we don't have a sequel for it. So that's unfortunate. Games-wise, I've been playing Apex Legends. This is my girlfriend's newest obsession for some reason, but we played it before, but now she just wants to play Apex. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, we'll play Apex. This is like one of the most difficult, I would say, battle royales out there, just because of the amount of things that are going on within a single game. So obviously you have like the heroes and like the agents or whatever the fuck they're called. And then on top of that, when you are playing the game, there's a bunch of different guns. There's different ammo types that you have to pick up. And there's attachments to the guns as well that make aiming better, aiming down sights better, etc. So there's a lot going on within every single game. I don't think we've won a duo game yet. We've gotten close. Like literally yesterday, it was fucking top 2, and then some other shit happened with like one of the heroes like threw some like fire at me. Like I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and then I just die, and I'm like, all right, whatever. So yeah, you know, there's definitely, you know, a learning curve to Apex, but I think if you give it time, I would say give it like maybe like a few hours, and then you'll figure out if you like it or not. Because it can be frustrating, I will be honest, because like when you land and you don't have like, you know, the armor that's like really, really, really good, you will fucking die instantly, which is like annoying and frustrating. And you have to like use like the terrain to its advantage and stuff like that. So, but you know, Apex Legends is another BR that is very successful for good reason. Book-wise, I've been obviously excited for Spider-Man 2, so I have been reading the prequel book for it. I've had this for a while, ever since like the game came out, but I've never like read it. Whoops. But this is like a pretty cheap book. You can find it on like Amazon or eBay for like $5-10 easy. So this is pretty much everything before the game happens. So before leading up to Kingpin's arrest. So like you get to meet Yuri, how Spider-Man met Yuri. You get to see him actually interact with Harry Osborn. I think that's like a big thing before he goes on like his Europe trip or whatever. Then you also just get to see like how like his origins are. Like they talk about that with like Uncle Ben and everything, and like he talks to Aunt May. And then there's some other characters in there that I won't spoil. But if you know them from like other Marvel projects, I guess I will fucking spoil it because no one's gonna fucking read this. So Maya Lopez, I believe she's Echo within the MCU or whatever. She's pretty big within I think like the Daredevil stuff. She's in this book and she has been taken under Kingpin, similar to I believe how Hawkeye portrayed it. So yeah, that was like pretty cool to like see and like read it because I think I read that when this book first came out, but I didn't know anything about like Daredevil and all of that stuff. So rereading, obviously from you start up until now, I'm like on page 129 and there's like 400 pages. So I'm like 1/4 through the book, but yeah, I mean, it is a lot of fun. Like they don't stick on like one character for that long either. Like they jump around between Spider-Man and then it goes to Kingpin stuff and then it bounces around and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, if you want to enjoy something that is related to Marvel Spider-Man, read this. It is obviously a book, so it's not going to be as fun as playing a game, but I'm getting enjoyment out of that. And then I also played the PS5 remaster just randomly because I was like, fuck it, why not? And I didn't realize that I didn't 100% it. So doing all of the side stuff, I didn't finish it. But just doing like the side stuff again, the bases are like one of my favorite things to do. But doing like the I guess like Harry's like lab stuff and like all of the other side objectives, I do feel like they're a little boring. So maybe the sequel will hopefully improve on that. And then the last big thing I've been doing is I've been playing my next game review, hopefully, which is Jedi Fallen Order on the PlayStation 5. And yeah, I mean, this game is as good as people say it is. It is a fantastic Star Wars story. First off, I think that Cal Kestis is like a really compelling character just because you can take Order 66 and spin it in 20 different ways and you're probably going to get something at least decent, you know? And I think Cal is a very, very good character. And I think that the way that the story is going, I'm like halfway through the game. I already fought the second sister after the first encounter from the beginning. So according to Emma, she said that I'm like a little more than halfway through. I literally just learned the double jump ability, which is like another like cool thing about this game is that like he's trying to reconnect with the Force. So they use that as like a gameplay way for you to like learn more abilities for you to explore either previous planets or the planet that you're currently on a lot more effectively, which is a lot of fun. The combat is very much Dark Souls like S, so if you fucking mash the square button, which is what I do, and you don't lock on, you're gonna fucking die a lot. Yeah. And I didn't realize that I was playing on hard mode. I thought I was playing on medium, but I'm too stubborn. Jedi Master? Yeah. I picked Jedi Master by accident, but I'm too stubborn to change it at this point. I'm like, I've already like, you know, gone so far into the game like this. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just keep it going. But yeah, there's like a lot of cool things that you can do as you're like exploring each planet. There's like multiple different pathways you can go in. You can use BB as a way to like scan like things within the world, and you get like a little bit of like experience as well. The way you upgrade with like the skill points and everything like that. If you played like another like action adventure game and you want some Dark Souls like elements in there with the combat, pretty much this game is it. So I'm eager to see how this ends. I know what happens towards the later half of the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is like a pretty cool thing that happens. But yeah, cannot wait to hopefully finish this game by the next episode. But yeah, Jedi Fallen Order, really, really good. If you haven't played it yet, you know, and playing it on the PS5, I've been playing it on performance mode, 60 frames, pretty much flawless. I haven't noticed any frame dips or anything like that. So if you want to play it on the next gen hardware, you can as well.
Yeah, it's a very good game.
All right, so now we're going to get into the bulk of the show, or part of it, the news. So first we're going to talk about gaming news, and then we'll get into a little bit of entertainment. So first up, Naughty Dog has delayed the Last of Us multiplayer game. So this pretty much happened right after, I think, Bloomberg kind of like reported like rumors on it. Then Naughty Dog was like, all right, cat's out of the bag. So let's just quickly make this statement about the game being delayed. So yeah, I mean, and they also said that they're working on a new single player experience as well. We don't know if that's going to be part 3 or whatever, but hey, you know what? If they are going to delay this multiplayer game, so be it. If they want it to be, better than what they had on the PlayStation 3 and they're trying to figure that out, then hey, you know, I think PlayStation, for a long time, they've been missing like a big, like, first party multiplayer experience. You know, a lot of their games are very much sandbox, single player oriented. So having a game that is deriving from The Last of Us and that being multiplayer as well will definitely get probably a lot of PlayStation Plus subscribers in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what they want. Like, they want probably more PlayStation Plus subscribers. Plus, they want, to hook people in. Like, because, a lot of these Sony games obviously make a lot of money, but none of them have, like, a lot of retention or anything. Like, no one's really buying cosmetics or whatever because they don't have, like, that shit in them. So, I know Sony really wants to go into this live service sort of thing, but, from the news that Bloomberg did, it looks like a lot of these companies don't really know how to make them too well. And, it's kind of what always like Epic and Bungie say, like, making live service games is really hard. And it is, like there's very few successful live service games that retain a bunch of players because, it's a very hard business model to go through. Like Epic like does it really well, but like, it's a ton of work to keep doing new seasons of Fortnite and make them like totally different. So, if Naughty Dog, like they've primarily made single player games, like they've made multiplayer modes, but I think that's all, making a whole ass live service game that's multiplayer focused has to be like a totally different beast compared to what they've done before. So it makes sense if they want to just delay it and like make sure it's good, or maybe like they don't have a lot of faith in it at this point and want to put less people on it. But I'm hoping it turns out good anyway, because I think a good like live service game from Sony could work, especially if Factions. I heard a lot of good things about people that played Factions when the Last of Us on the PS3 was out and stuff. So if that experience could be just as good as like its own game, then that would be cool. But I guess we'll have to see, because Naughty Dog doesn't seem too confident in it, and neither does Sony. So I guess we'll see how this live service feature holds for Sony, since it seems like they want to move away from their cinematic first single player games, which I hope they don't, because that's what I associate Sony with. But I'd rather have that than a bunch of live service games. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember playing Uncharted 2 multiplayer because I think Cole McGrath was a skin in there, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let me go and play this multiplayer stuff, and that was really fun. I think that was like really solid like multiplayer mode that used the Uncharted mechanics into a multiplayer space, and I think they did the same thing for The Last of Us 1, like you said, on the PlayStation 3. I played with that pretty much as equally, and that was also pretty fun. So I'm sure because they're delaying it and they're spending so much time on this, they're trying to make sure that it is bigger than those modes, even though that those modes really worked out and they were fun for what they were. I'm pretty sure that they didn't last as long with like the player retention and things like that. So I'm sure that this thing's gonna have like a battle pass or some shit like that. So
definitely.
But yeah, hopefully whenever it does come out, it ends up being decent.
Yeah, well, I feel like Naughty Dog can't really afford, like, they don't, like, I feel like if they made a bad game, they'll just be like, okay, we're done. Like, we can't do that. So I definitely feel like their reputation has to kind of be on the line here. All right, well, we got some more, I guess, Sony news. So Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is coming to PC on July 26th. So yeah, this is crazy. I think this hit hard when people saw God of War on PC. This is hitting me hard because like seeing Ratchet on a non-PlayStation console is really weird, but it's really cool. Like some people act weird about it, being like, "Oh, this is a bad thing." PS5 has no games now, but I'm like, it's been like 2 years since this game came out, which is crazy to say at this point. But it has been like 2 years since Rift Apart came out. Like I think it's fine to put it on PC at this point. Plus, it's going to be cool to have, like, modding and stuff. The crazy mods you could have in Spider-Man is, like, insane. So it'd be cool to have, like, different character skins and stuff in Rift Apart. I don't know if I'll buy it, like, right away, but it's definitely something I'll be interested in, like, playing on my PC. I don't even know if my PC could run this, to be honest. Like, this is, like, very, like... it's a great-looking game. Like, I still think this is one of the best-looking next-gen games out there. I know I'm biased, but, like, I really do think so. Like, it's such a good-looking game. Having more people be able to experience, Ratchet & Clank, I think that's always a great thing. And I know like a lot of Ratchet & Clank fans, maybe they don't have a PS5 or whatever, and I think this is a great way just for it to be more accessible, Like I'm always down for more people playing great games, So yeah, I'm definitely for this,
Yeah, I think we have the same conversation every single time one of these big PlayStation exclusives hops onto PC, and it's like, all right, yeah, well, it's been out for a number of years, and there's no reason to really gatekeep it in a way on this console when they've already made their money and they've already made their sales. So fuck it, put it on PC. Let's see how it does. I think a lot of people are concerned with how it'll run, or like what the sort of requirements are to run this game on PC, because this game was like the first one to really tell people like this is a PlayStation 5 game because of the rifting between different dimensions. And I wonder how that's going to work on PC. Like if you don't have a fucking SSD or like a good enough PC, will you just be loading or just not be able to run the game at all? Which I wouldn't be surprised, because this is a very intensive game. And I think that because, you know, now that it is coming to PC and they're using another studio or whatever to help them bring it to PC, I wonder how well it's going to do, because, you know, like you said, modding and everything is pretty big on PC, which is why a lot of people buy certain games on PC, because they want to play with the mods and sort of have a different experience from what you can have on console.
Yeah, like I just think it'll be really cool to see what the community could put out with like mods and stuff, because you know, like every time I see these like really big AAA games, like I'm like, there's no way they can mod this, right? Like it looks too good. Like, I don't know how you would do it. And then you see like, you know, like Kermit and like Spider-Man or something, or like God of War stuff. Like, so yeah, I'm very excited to see how the community does like mods and stuff for this game. And again, just excited for more people to play these games. Like, you know, I think Ratchet and Clank is obviously fantastic. I'm very biased in this sense. So yeah, I'm always down with it. And don't be a weird console fanboy and be like, oh, it can't be on PC. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Again, I don't think, you know, I think a 2-year exclusivity like on a thing, it's like well enough to be like, I think my PS5 was worth it, you know? Yeah. So like, I think it's fine.
Especially since, because I think at that point, if you were really excited to play the game, you probably
would play it.
Yeah, you would play it, buy it, and do everything that you got to do with it. On Steam, it's just as it requires a 64-bit processor, and then everything else is sort of TBD. So we'll see how intense the stats are needed for this game in particular, but hopefully it runs well, because I think that was like a big thing with the last PlayStation exclusive that went on to PC, which was The Last of Us Part 1, which, you know, was a huge thing to really introduce that game to PC audiences, especially with the success of the HBO show. And then it came out and then it ran like garbage. So I hope that this game doesn't suffer that same fate.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Spider-Man port was pretty good, but I don't know if these are the same people that ported that game, though. Like this, but they seem to be pretty confident. Like the people porting the game seem to be tweeting a lot like, hey, we know what we're doing. So I guess we'll see, you know, money on their mouth. So we'll see how well the port is. Hopefully it's good, but yeah, very exciting news.
All right. So next bit of news, Yuji Naka could face 2.5 years in prison for the insider trading incident. Yeah, I mean, that is like a pretty insane thing to happen, but you know, insider trading is very much a big no-no within Japan, and he was doing that stuff when he was working with Square Enix on Dragon Quest, and he sort of, you know, bought into stocks or, you know, did some illegal shenanigans. So yeah, I mean, this is one of the co-creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, and you know, the fact that his legacy is now going to be he did some insider trading and he's going to jail is quite funny and quite hilarious, but at the same time kind of sad in some ways as well. But you know, if you commit a crime, you're eventually going to get caught, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, just don't do insider trading. That's usually a pretty big no-no for a lot of people. Like, you know, it's you know, a lot of money being made over there and stuff. It's illegal pretty much everywhere. So yeah, I mean, you know, Yuji Naka has a pretty interesting career where, you know, obviously he like made Sonic or whatever and stuff, like, you know, he made Knights, but you know, he's been, you know, I watch a lot of things where he's kind of an asshole, and like obviously like he just kind of fell from grace ever since, like, you know, after Sonic went into 3D and stuff. So I mean, it's pretty unfortunate, like it's pretty a sad thing to see, but like I don't know. It's just like at this point, he's really past his prime. At this point, I think Battle in Wonderworld, whatever it was called, really ruined him. So you know, he can't come back from that. So yeah,
I think that was
not to say like
that was the last nail in the coffin for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not entirely his fault. Like Square really did mess him up in terms of that game as well. But yeah, either way, kind of a sad way to go. Mostly when we got like new Sonic stuff that's been, you know, pretty good. So it kind of sucks that he's not there to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so Dolphin, so this was crazy news. So you know, last time I think we talked about that Dolphin, you know, the emulator was going to be on Steam. Well, that's not happening anymore because Nintendo was like, you're not doing that. So yeah, Nintendo put a cease and desist. I think it's DMCA takedown on Valve. Actually, like they told Valve like, hey, can you take this down? And Valve apparently didn't dispute it to just be like, okay. So it's down. And Nintendo had this wild statement where it's like, they talk about, so there was a lot of rumors of why this was taken down. Because, you know, emulators are legal, just ROMs aren't legal. So that's like how emulators are able to exist. and people found out that Dolphin actually does have like Wii like keys in them, like legit Wii keys or something, and that's like illegal, and they should have not been doing that. But apparently Nintendo wasn't taking it down because of that. They just took it down because they hate them. Like they were just like we think. I'm trying to find a quote. They were like, we hate
it like stops
emulation because it
innovation.
stifles. Yeah, it like stifles innovation. I'm like, what a weird statement. Like I really don't think that's the case at all. I don't know why they would say that, because emulation is just there for people to play older games. Like it doesn't stifle anything. It's not like a disrespect either to like older developers. If anything, it should be like, you should be flattered that people want to play these older games still instead of like newer stuff. You know what I mean? Or just make the games easier, more accessible for people to buy or something. Then people wouldn't have to emulate as much, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, my stance on emulating games and playing these ROMs and everything like that is like, do what you gotta do. Me personally, I will never play a emulation unless I actually own the game. So like the only thing I've really emulated is stuff on Dolphin for like GameCube games. But those GameCube games I own. So like Sonic Adventure 2 and whatever else that we were doing for that like one summer or whatever, you know. I don't emulate games that I don't own, because I feel like for me personally, you know, like I'm a fucking game collector. I'm a physical boy. So I really do like owning the game. And if I own it and I want to play it like conveniently on my PC so we could do like some funny like speed races or whatever the fuck, then sure, why not? But I will never do that myself personally. If you do it, I'm not going to tell you not to, but that's just my own personal stance. So when it comes to them shutting it down on Steam, I mean, like, that was gonna fucking happen, you know. Like Valve isn't gonna take the fall for this, you know, company that created Dolphin and everything like that. That's like, you know, it can be a fucking huge thing for Valve for them to really like, you know, put their foot down on this, because like really there's no reason for them to do that. And I think when it comes to this comment about them being like emulation stifles innovation is very hypocritical, as this article puts it, because it's like when you look at certain things that happen within recent Nintendo games, or even what they're doing with the Nintendo Online stuff, like fucking save states and everything like that, that's because of emulators. That's because of like what people are doing with these games. You know, they're modding them and doing all this crazy stuff with it, which, you know, has a community for that has people that want to play these crazy, you know, like Pokemon mods or whatever else, you know. And I think that them saying that is very tone deaf, and them not really noticing or realizing that like the modding community isn't just them, you know, taking it and putting it on here so thousands and millions of people could play it. It's also them like maybe fixing it, or maybe even, you know, changing it in some regards to make it better, and just, you know, them having fun with it and loving it, because they wouldn't fucking take these games and put them on here if they didn't want to, you know, do that in some regards. You know, it's not them just like trying to one up Nintendo, because a lot of these games aren't available to really purchase officially.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Like my stance on emulation is, I won't emulate if I could buy it legally for an affordable price, and preferably on modern consoles. But as soon as the game isn't available anywhere, so I'm like all for emulating old Pokemon games, because I'm not gonna pay like $400 for like Emerald or something, right?
Yeah.
And they made it they have no like intention to ever release those games like officially anywhere besides, you know, on GBA. So I'm like, yeah, I will emulate that, because I'm like, I'm not gonna pay some random dude $400. They're not even making money from it anymore. So what's the point? So that's my stance on emulation. If there's no actual official way to obtain the game, then I will emulate it if I really want to play the game. And I think that's fair, because like you leave the consumer no choice at that point. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna find the way to do it. Like I'm not really for like when people are emulating like Switch games, I think that's like towing the line of like piracy at that point. Even if you do own it, like it feels kind of weird to me. But yeah, like in terms of like older games, like 2 generations back, I'm definitely like, yeah, just go for it. So yeah, Nintendo's statement here is pretty disappointing, but it's pretty like, I kind of expected it. I mean, Nintendo's so vicious about this stuff. So, yeah, hopefully Dolphin doesn't go down for this. Like, hopefully they're not just like down forever. Hopefully it's just a Steam page gain knocked down. But I guess we'll see as the weeks go by. So I still think Dolphin was stupid for even putting on Steam. Why? You're Ravi, like, don't poke the bear. You know? So
I know, or I believe it's because they wanted it to be available for like the Steam Deck and everything like that. So it had to, you know, go through all that. But yeah, I mean, like, guys, you remember like Mario Maker and everything, right? Like that's just them creating different like Mario levels officially. through a product, and that's sort of like where it all started with like modding and like ROMs and all that other shit. So
yeah, ROM hacks and stuff. Yeah,
but yeah, you know, Nintendo's doing their own thing. Are they really gonna suffer for it? Maybe, probably not. They're like way too big to really like boycott them, in my opinion. And you know, even if you know, don't buy like whatever, you know, fucking Zelda already made like however millions of fucking dollars at this point. So
yeah, it just be like that.
All right, so next bit of news we got here. I am very excited for fucking Pikmin 4. So they released like this little teaser trailer to sort of give you guys an idea of like what the story is. But on top of that, they unveiled that you are going to be playing as your own like little customized like adventurer or whatever the fuck, your own rescue corps member. That's cute. I fucking love that. It's very surprising that they haven't done that yet, just because they've been sticking to like their, you know, like whatever main characters.
The captain.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun to see exactly how this story and the game itself plays out. But I think that this customization feature is just enough for me to get excited for it, and hopefully whatever gameplay new features that they got going on here will be just as exciting.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I mean, I guess it's going to be my first Pikmin game. I wanted to play Pikmin 3 before this, but, you know, as you can see, the year's been busy with games and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to play Pikmin 3 before this. Maybe I still can, but we'll see. But yeah, in terms of Pikmin 4, it looks pretty good right now. You know, the create a character thing, you know, looks pretty neat. And it looks like instead of like, you know, collecting ship parts or collecting fruit and shit, you're collecting other people, I guess, to like rescue them. And I have like Olimar is there and stuff. So yeah, looks pretty interesting. You know, I never played a Pikmin game before, so it's gonna be cool to see like how this game sort of introduces the mechanics to new players and stuff. So yeah, looks neat. But for the real big Switch announcement, we got everybody wants to Switch. Hell yeah! So this was like rumored for like a while, like people
like over a year.
For like over a year, this game has been rumored, and the you know, the way the stories have been going is the game is so bad Nintendo didn't even want to release it. Like that's like apparently all the playtests have been so negative, and honestly, that kind of makes sense at this point because I've never seen Nintendo just release a game like this where it's like they tweet it out, it's for $30, and they just want it gone. Like this shit's coming out. When is this coming out?
June
it's coming
30th.
out June 30th. Yeah, so it really seems they want this game to be under the radar and just to like get that shit out of the warehouse already. So, I mean, I think it'll be fun with friends. Obviously, like the first game was because it's stupid. Like the first game was definitely not worth like $60, right? It was $60, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 100% not worth $60. It's bad, but it's funny. So I think this is a better price for it to just be a dumb, stupid party game where you just like look at each other milking cows or whatever. So yeah, either way, it's gonna be bad. that's what it's gonna be. So
yeah, I mean, I didn't know about this crazy ass story. The fact that they were holding on to this game that they had in development and sort of like finished and play tested it for a while, and then it was just like so bad that they were like, we're not releasing this yet. So now that it is just randomly, it was just announced that it's coming out. I think a lot of people on Twitter that were in the know were like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like they're actually releasing this game. So after like, you know, reading up on the reports and everything, it's like, okay, yeah, like this is a sequel to 1-2 Switch, everyone's favorite Nintendo Switch game that was $60. That was not a pack-in at all. When it really should have been. Yep, exactly. Everyone's sentiment is like this should have been a pack-in, or if not, a reduced price like this one at $30. So we don't know much about the games. According to the report from last year, there's going to be games similar to like Jackbox where you can like use your smartphone, so you don't have to worry about using like, you know, buying another pair of Joy-Cons or whatever, because that is definitely like a fucking paywall for a lot of people. But everyone has a smartphone to some extent that has a web browser on it, so you know, just copying what Jackbox did and just plopping it into their own Nintendo thing hopefully will work. But I don't think we know anything about the games just yet, and I'm sure we'll know about them when the game actually comes out, because it seems like that they don't really want this game to really have a lot of press around it.
No, they did not. It seems like they want this game to be out and gone, like they're sandwiching it between Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4. Like, they definitely want it to just be erased from existence, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I think we could just accept that's coming out and then move on with our lives. That seems to be what Nintendo wants, so yeah.
But yeah, moving on from there, we got Friday the 13th game will delist at the end of this year, and they will stop supporting it by the end of next year. So if you guys don't know what this game is, it's pretty much a multiplayer game where you are playing as one of the camp counselors, or you're playing as Jason from Friday the 13th, and you're pretty much trying to go around as the camp counselor to get your way off of the island. That could be either finding a battery for a car, fixing the car, then running out, or there's like other ways to do it with like lore stuff. Like I think that there's a character that you can like after you die, then if someone calls that character in, you will respawn as that character, then you can kill Jason yourself. And then if you're Jason, you're literally just trying to kill everyone. And there's like voice chat in there, so it's like pretty funny when you hear like little kids on the mic or whatever.
Proximity chat, right?
Yeah, so it is definitely a game for its time when it came out. Like I was playing it a lot with Louis when we were playing it, just because it was like it's, we've never had like a really good like horror game that really emulated those movies. So I think that this was like the first one that really did it well. So the fact that they're gonna, the license for the game is going to expire. That's why they're going to delist it. So from now up until the end of this year, the game is going to be $5, and all of the DLC is going to be $1. So they're pretty much just like, all right, well, they probably haven't made a lot of sales for the game to begin with. So they're like, all right, well, we're going to lose this license anyway. So we're just going to make it so we can make it affordable for anyone that wants to finally try it out and play it from now up until the end of this year. And also just like get a nice boost of people to come back to it and, play it again. Maybe I'll go back to it and play it again just one last time, because I definitely have a lot of fond memories playing this game of just like stupid fucking shenanigans of like Louis being Jason and him like trying to find my ass the whole game, or like the opposite way around. So, it is definitely like a fun game, and I think that the $5 price point is definitely going to be appealing for a lot of people.
Yeah, like I never played it myself, but I have watched a lot of streams of it, and it was always a good time. Mm-hmm. And it always sucks when games get delisted for stupid licensing issues. Like it's always dumb. Like, oh, we just can't sell it anymore because we don't have the rights to it anymore. That's always the dumbest way for a game to go down. And it sucks too, because you could just be like, oh, get physical and stuff. But I don't know if it has local online. I mean, it probably has local stuff, but it's still just like a game you kind of want online for it, and now you kind of can't do it. So it's very unfortunate that it's just going down forever. When games like this happen, is always very sad. But it was a cool idea for a game. Obviously we've seen a lot of other games do it now, like Evolve. I think Evolve was before this, but like Evolve, this Dead by Daylight, obviously. So it's a good concept for a video game and stuff, but yeah, it's just unfortunate that it seems to be just gone now because licensing issues. Really stupid way to always lose a game, but yeah, I guess that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, if these devs or someone else wants to pretty much create the same game, but just like with just like generic character or whatever, it can work. It's just that I think the main appeal of this game was the fact that it had like those like lore and like story things that you can do within it as like other ways to kill Jason. So, but yeah, it is definitely a product of its time in a way. But yeah, this is just like a whole other thing with like physical versus digital. And, because this is like a whole online game, they have to keep it online. So, it's good that they're going to support it for like the next year. So at least if you buy it now, you can play it up until the end of next year. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, we got some new Twitch stuff. Twitch is being stupid again. So yeah, Twitch made a statement being basically like new content guidelines. And I guess the two biggest ones of the thing were you can't have insert burn-in video ads anymore. So like, a lot of streams, like I guess I'll use like Jerma for an example because I watch him. Whenever Jerma has like a big like sort of stream thing, he would have burn-in ads basically where he would be like, he has Coinbase or whatever, like in the stream itself. Like it's not like a Twitch ad thing. Like it's just a sponsor of the stream. Obviously to make money back for these big events and stuff. Apparently you weren't able to do that anymore. And also, like, on-stream brand overlays are limited to, like, 3% of the screen size, which is very tiny. I saw a lot of great, like, memes about people doing stuff about that. And obviously, this did not sit right with a lot of creators. A lot of people basically be like, yeah, like, this sucks. With Twitch already taking a 50-50 split from a lot of streamers now instead of the 70-30 that it was, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people weren't happy with this, just... They're taking more money away from them. Twitch obviously wanted more money from the ads that play on Twitch itself and not, streamers getting their own sponsorship deals. The logos on stream, I think that's just a dumb thing. Like, why make it 3% of the screen size? So So yeah, a lot of this was really bad, and they faced a media backlash. Like Mr. Beast said stuff, obviously like Moist Critical said stuff. Everyone was saying stuff, and Twitch I think basically just went back on it and be like, okay, never mind. I'm pretty sure. So, and I know they had some other things going on, right? Like with the multi-stream thing you were saying?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like there's like this other thing about the new like Twitch guidelines, which is like affecting Ninja mainly as like the biggest creator out there. But to anyone that's like trying to stream on Twitch along with like on other platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever the fuck, if you're trying to like multi-stream your stream onto other platforms and try to get your exposure out there online to as many people on the internet, you can't do that on Twitch anymore, apparently. And, because of this, Ninja is currently streaming on fucking Kick streaming, which is kind of crazy. The fact that Twitch is shooting themselves in their own foot and causing one of the biggest creators on their platform to move to Kick because they want to do this multi-streaming thing, whether you're partnered or not, because he's not even partnered. That's the reason why he gave up his Twitch partnership, was because he wanted to stream everywhere. He wanted to stream on YouTube, TikTok, everything. But now it's just not allowed, which is crazy. And I think that this is just like a running theme with Twitch over the past 5 years or so. They're just shooting themselves in the foot consistently over and over again, not talking to creators, not talking to people that are actually within this space that are using their platform to make money and make a living. I feel like that if I was a Twitch streamer, I would fucking fear every single day of my life, like trying to figure out like what the hell is going to be like the next thing that they're going to try to do. And with the whole like burn in like ads and everything, like it doesn't just affect like small streamers or like streamers in general. It also affects like big charity events or big esports events where like they have like ads running or whatever. Like I know for League of Legends and Riot Games, they have like a Red Bull thing that they play in between their like ad break or whatever. So that's going to affect them and sort of how they operate and how they do like their ads and everything like that. Like this doesn't just affect the streamers. This literally affects everything that goes on Twitch, which this is what happens when you have one platform that is literally the biggest platform for streaming video games. You're going to have this fucking company that's owned by Amazon, by the way, that's just going to make these stupid dumbass decisions. And we're at a point now where it's like, okay, is like streaming on Twitch even like, worth it? Should I move to YouTube? Should I move to Kick even? And I think that for me personally, like I'm not like a big, fucking streamer or anything like that. I haven't streamed in like over a year. The last time I streamed was during the pandemic because I was doing nothing else. But if I were to come back streaming, because I already have this YouTube audience, I think I'll just stream on YouTube, because I think that is something that would just make everything a lot more streamlined for me personally. And I think that YouTube streaming in general is just becoming better and better, not just because they're signing on more creators, but because they're learning about the streaming space as well.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that, YouTube, I mean, it's still not great in terms of monetization and copyright strikes or whatever, but it's kind of weird that Twitch has become sort of the more like evil of the two now in terms of like how annoying they are with their policy changes, like coming out of nowhere. Like you think they would consult some streamers to be like, hey, is this okay? And they would immediately be like, no, what are you doing? So yeah, it seems like they just seem really tone deaf and stuff, like more so than YouTube. And YouTube at least has the excuse of being like, it's like a Google, like YouTube's not just meant for video games or whatever. Twitch is meant to be more of like, yeah, we're gamers and shit. Like we know what we're doing, but then they make as baffling decisions as YouTube does. So yeah, I feel like if you're an up and coming streamer, like I feel like Twitch just isn't the platform to go to, especially because it's so hard to get discovered and stuff. Like I feel like other platforms might be a better fit for you at this point. Twitch doesn't really offer basically anything to the creators anymore. Like everything seems to be more in favor of Twitch themselves getting more of the cut than the streamers. So and I think people are finally starting to like be like, yeah, this is ridiculous. Like I've seen a lot more people go to YouTube and stuff, and YouTube has been improving their streaming as well. Like I still think chat's pretty bad on YouTube. Like I prefer, I mean, Twitch chat's bad, but it's like a dumb kind of bad. Like YouTube Twitch chat or YouTube chat is just kind of unreadable. So YouTube still has to improve their live streaming stuff, but in terms of like quality and stuff, it's good. Like I like that I got you like reverse and scrub through the stream and stuff while while the VOD is still going. Like I think that's a really cool feature. So yeah, Twitch definitely needs to like improve a lot of their stuff. Like especially I think just community stuff. They really have to have like some spokesperson like be like in touch with other streamers and be like, hey, is this okay? Because a lot of decisions have been really bad lately. Again, I'm not a streamer at all or whatever, but yeah, if I was a Twitch streamer, I would definitely be worried about my livelihood like every day, because you never know when it's just like over. So yeah.
Yeah, it is just so insane how how Twitch is just fumbling it every single time that they announce something new to their platform, and it just seems crazy because like obviously like I watch a lot of Twitch just because that's where everyone goes. That's where all of the big creators that I watch go. You know, I watch a lot of Tarek, I watch a lot of Valorant, I watch a lot of League of Legends, and pretty much if you want to watch League, for the most part it is on Twitch with like the pro players and even some streamers on there. I don't watch Tyler one, but yeah, you know, eventually these changes and these policies are going to push enough creators out, and you're going to see less people go on Twitch. And you know, I'm not going to say Twitch is ever going to die. It's still like a huge, massive platform for streaming video games. It's just that at some point, enough big creators are going to leave. And when that happens, those smaller creators are going to follow them. And what's going to happen? The viewers are going to follow them as well. So if they keep making these changes that are just so bad to the creators and just so greedy, like it is just straight up greed, that they are not allowing these burn-in ads, or the fact that they are like, it has to be 3% of the fucking screen, which like, what the hell does that even mean? It's just like you're messing up people's money and their livelihood to the point where they might just get up and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it always shows that, you know, like these companies always think they're like invincible, but they're not. Like as soon as you do enough dumb shit, like people are just gonna leave. So you know that happened to a lot of platforms in the past. So hopefully they don't. You know, hopefully they just improve themselves. I do like Twitch, like in terms of like, you know, its interface and stuff. So yeah, hopefully they're able to fix themselves, because they have not been doing any of their streamers any justice in the past few years.
And it is still crazy to me that you can't just like rewind the VOD or whatever, just like YouTube. Like it is just,
it's dumb.
It is just such like still like an outdated site, but people have no other choice but to continue using it. So, but that's a whole other topic that I won't talk about right now. But moving on from there, we're going to get into a little bit of entertainment news. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem has released the first, I believe, official like full-length trailer. And yeah, I'm fucking excited for Cinema Part 2. Part 1 was Across the Spider-Verse. This is Part 2. Like, this movie was 100% inspired by Into the Spider-Verse's success, and the fact that they're doing it with the Ninja Turtles is going to be very exciting. Obviously, the Ninja Turtles are a huge property, and the fact that they're still around and creating new ideas and new versions of these characters is always going to be so much fun. And I cannot wait to see how this version turns out, just because, you know, they have actual like teenagers voicing them, which I think is a nice touch. And the animation style is obviously like really good, just because they are taking notes from Into the Spider-Verse and going from there. And also the trailer itself also gives us an idea of what the story is going to be about. You know, they want to be accepted as like, you know, being able to walk among humans because they are big ass Ninja Turtles. But you know, there's going to be, I guess, like this big bad guy within there that's also like a bunch of mutants, but they do bad stuff. So, yeah, cannot wait to see how this movie plays out as it comes out, I believe, in August. So.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I first saw this trailer when Spider-Verse, like I saw it when, you know, like the trailers are playing, like, because obviously I knew this movie was happening. I was very like pretty like hooked on it. But this trailer, like, yeah, it looks fucking sick. Like I love how it looks. Like, again, I think Spider-Verse did such a great job just showing that CG animation doesn't have to be like Pixar or anything. Like, it could be like these crazy art styles that really emulate 2D animation. Like, you know, just because it's 3D doesn't mean it has to be like fluid or whatever. Like, it could be like wacky and crazy as well. And I really like that a lot, because I think it's the one thing people really miss about 2D animation is just how stylized things could look. But, you know, again, with Into the Spider-Verse, it showed that, you could do that with 3D animation. It's just people haven't really tried yet. So, yeah, this movie's looking like it looks fantastic visually. And in terms of, like, story and stuff, again, like you said, I like that they're actually voiced by teenagers and stuff. Like, it really gives them the feel of being like, yeah, they're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles instead of just being like, I don't know, like early 20s turtles or something. So, yeah, it looks like a cool, like, origin story to see how they kind of get into, like, you know, fighting bad guys and stuff. I guess that's supposed to be Baxter Stockman. I don't know. It's just The Fly. So I think that's Baxter Stockman, right? So
you know, Superfly or whatever this new villain's called. So
yeah. So you know, obviously I don't know how the actual, like, you know, anything else is going to be so far, but the general vibe and just the animation itself just makes me very, very interested in watching it. So hopefully this could be like, I guess, the Spider-Verse of TMNT. It's not like TMNT has bad like media in general. Like, it's been doing pretty well in terms of like games and stuff. And,
recently
and shows. Yeah, recently, yeah. So yeah, I'm really pumped to see it. Like, this made me like be like, yeah, maybe I'll watch this in theaters now because this actually looks really good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm always down to watch a movie in theaters. But yeah, you will see my ass August 1st or 2nd, whenever I can see it. So, but yeah.
All right. So last thing here for media stuff. Captain America: Brave New World. They changed the name of it. I think it was New World Order before,
which was kind of sussy.
Which was a little sussy. Yeah. We got a new picture of Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie. They're just there talking to each other. So Harrison Ford is supposed to be like in the movie. Yeah.
He's replacing General Ross because that actor has unfortunately passed away, but they have Harrison Ford playing him because I guess they really needed this character for this movie. So, yeah,
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. You know, I know so some people are still kind of sussy about Captain America being, that's Captain America now. But those people are weirdos. So same thing when people are like being weird about Miles, like, he's Spider-Man and stuff. So we just ignore those people. And I'm hoping the movie is good though. I mean, like we said, we like Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought it was a really good Disney Plus show. So hopefully he's able to carry out the thing here. I kind of miss I'm not like too big of a fan of his new outfit. I kind of liked his outfit in the Captain America and Winter Soldier, because I feel like it's like his own. This one feels too much like he doesn't feel like his own thing, Like, I mean, that's why I like Miles, because it's not like he's Spider-Man obviously, but like he still feels like his own thing. So I don't know. I guess we'll see when the movie actually comes out. But I like his wings.
Yeah, I mean, I think this photo actually shows the old suit there for some reason. So I wonder what that all means, if they just put that there on purpose. But yeah, I mean, like, I really loved his suit within the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Like, that was like spot on, like comic accurate, and it actually looked really, really good for being comic accurate. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this film. I'm glad they changed the name just because it was a little sus to say New World Order, especially when it was connected to some interesting things is how I'll put it. But yeah, Brave New World, I think that probably fits what story that they're trying to tell, sort of having Sam Wilson come into Captain America and sort of have his character be recognized as Captain America, because I recently bought the Nick Spencer Captain America Sam Wilson run, just because I think that these movies will pull from that stuff. And apparently it's also just like a pretty good run in general, because it does go into those same people. Like, the comic's pretty old. I think it's like a few years old, maybe 5-ish or something like that. But it goes into like those politics about being like, is he Captain America? Steve Rogers is my Captain America and shit like that. So, this dialogue has been going on for years and years and years, and it just seems like that it only got reignited with the whole MCU. So, but yeah, I cannot wait to see how Captain America Brave New World pans out.
Yeah, I mean, again, Captain America is usually some of the best MCU movies out there. So very excited to see how this one turns out.
All right. So let's get into Summer Games Fest. So before we talk about the announcements, I want to get your opinion on just like day one and just like this whole like press conference that happened. Because honestly, I know Jeff Keighley is very much in the know with like social media and everything, like he's very vocal on there, and he had like a poll on Twitter that was like, what would you rate Summer Games Fest, that like press conference, and I said a B, and I think a lot of people agreed with me on that, with that sort of like number that I saw. But yeah, like, what did you think about this this panel, whatever the fuck that they're calling it?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. I just feel like, just like every other Jeff Keighley show, I just felt like it was too long, and like the pacing could be better, and that's about it. I mean, that's usually the issue with his shows. Like, I think they just go on a little too long. Like, I feel like if you cut like a lot of time from this, I think it would have been fine. And some of the games they showed just, they weren't that exciting. Like, there was some there was a lot of just like medieval games that I just didn't care about. That I'm like, okay, whatever. There was this really generic zombie game, the John Carpenter one. I'm like, why is this like so goddamn generic? But some of the things it did show were really cool, and we have them here. Like, you basically have all the announcements I kind of wanted to talk about. So yeah, the things it did show were really cool, and some of the other things, obviously like some updates on Spider-Man as well. So yeah, I do think it ended up being a pretty okay show. I still think his Game Awards from last year was amazing. Like, I actually think that was probably the best show he's done. Minus the like the 15-minute speech by God of War Kratos and the Bill Clinton kid. Those were fun, but also like they kind of dragged on a bit. But yeah, I still thought like that show was really good. And compared to that, this one just felt a bit like underwhelming. But since every other game studio is doing stuff during this time, it's kind of hard to pick announcements that you could kind of keep for yourself. Like, he had okay, I guess like Sony let him have the release date for Spider-Man, and I don't think Microsoft let him have anything, actually, now that I think about it. But, it's kind of hard for him to get the scraps of whatever was left. But I think he did a pretty okay job. I just think the pacing just needs work, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think in comparison to like E3, because he did like a podcast thing and he talked about like his reputation as being like the E3 killer, and he views it as like E3 killed itself and not Summer Games Fest, because in reality, like, Summer Games Fest isn't that big of a event, but for this like day one that happened for this like conference, whatever panel, I think that it was all right. I think that Jeff Keighley was able to like have fun with the audience and sort of, crack jokes and, sort of also bring like new and exciting things to the stage, like, for example, fucking Nicolas Cage and Dead by Daylight, and having him talk about video games when he's probably never played a video game in his life was very entertaining and very funny. But then again, there were also other moments within the show, like when that guy came out to talk about Alan Wake 2 and he was just talking about the game, and I was like, fucking show us, like, have some B-roll, have something going on in the background for the stream, because I think that would have helped the show a little bit, instead of just having this guy talk about the game, show us a little bit, maybe, have some B-roll in there. But yeah, like you said, pacing is definitely like a thing that needs to be worked on, but I do think that Jeff Keighley himself was having a lot of fun with it, like that whole like DoorDash thing with Final Fantasy. Right before he was like, Final Fantasy fans get excited because this shit is sponsored by DoorDash. I was like, this is so funny because they all, dude, I got debated.
I got debated so hard because I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna see the Rebirth trailer, and then I'm like, okay, I guess not. And then by the end, I really didn't think he would close the show with it, so I was just like, oh, I guess we're not getting a trailer for this game, because Square was releasing like a bunch of weird tweets and stuff. So I'm like, okay, we're definitely gonna see it in this show. And then I just didn't expect it to be the final thing. So that was cool. But yeah, that was a great debate. Good job, Jeff. I laughed. So, yeah.
But what do you think about his like reputation about being like the E3 killer?
Yeah, I mean, what he said is more accurate, being like, yeah, he didn't kill E3. It's more like E3 just killed itself, because, I know the ESA, which is a bunch of assholes, and like none of the companies really wanted to work with them anymore. So it just made like, once Sony broke away, I feel like a lot of the hype for E3 was sort of dying. And then obviously COVID happened, and then all momentum for E3 just died at that point. And yeah, I think he's just right on that aspect. I think Jeff Keighley does a good job sort of being like a replacement for E3, but I won't lie saying I do miss E3. Like I do miss the big press conferences and stuff. Like it's always was an exciting time, like in June, to watch all these press conferences, at least to me anyway. Obviously some were boring and you got some cringe moments, but that comes with the territory. But yeah, I mostly agree with him that E3 kind of just killed itself, and he didn't really do anything to like, he just kind of like was there to like pick up the pieces basically. And yeah, I do appreciate Jeff Keighley for like doing what he does and like still making us like decent shows and stuff for game announcements and stuff, because I just like these game show things. I think they're just fun to watch, and I like being hyped with people. So yeah, so I think he is doing a good job with these shows, and I agree with his statement here. So
yeah, so let's get into the 3 announcements we got here. So first, let's talk about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, because that was like the first game that they really opened up with, and this really caught my eye, not just because it was a 2D platformer action adventure, but because it actually looked really, really cool with like the art style and everything, and like the mechanics that they were showing off. So yeah, I mean, I've never played a Prince of Persia game in depth.
Me either. Yeah.
So this might be my first one, just because it is in a genre that I am 100% down with, and it is nice seeing that Ubisoft is working on stuff, just because I know that they've been slowly trying to get back into Assassin's Creed and everything like that. But by seeing like Capcom of all companies, sort of have like this sort of big resurgence
Renaissance,
within the gaming space, it's like, all right, well, where's Ubisoft?
Yeah, apparently this is made by the same people that made the Rayman games, like the Rayman Legends and Origins. Like it's those same people that were making those games. So that even caught my eye even more. But yeah, I think the game looks great graphically. Like I like its art style. It looks really fun and fast paced. It looks just graphically, I think it looks great. And just looks like a very not Ubisoft thing they would do. Like same thing with the Rayman games. Like it's a very like like, oh, it's just a game. Like, it's just a good game. Here you go. It's no microtransaction stuff like, you know, some of the recent Assassin's Creed stuff. It's just like, here's a really cool looking 2D like sort of action adventure game. And yeah, I think it looks great. You know, Ubisoft games have always been like sort of meh for me. Like I obviously, you know, we both like the Rayman games. You know, Far Cry I would play, you know, whenever, if someone wants to play it with me or whatever. I don't mind Far Cry that much. I've never really been that into Assassin's Creed. So, yeah, and Prince of Persia I've never really gotten to try. So yeah, like you said, this might be the first one I tried because this really caught my eye. It looks really cool.
Yeah, and I think that this is actually like a strong game to open up with.
Yeah. Mostly because it's like also like brand recognition. It's like, oh yeah, Prince of Persia. That's a thing we haven't seen in a bit. But this fucking game came out of nowhere. Yes, the Sonic Superstars. It's a new 2D Sonic game, but it's not pixel art. It's like 3D, and it looks really good. Well, not 3D. You know what I mean? 2.5D, and it looks really good. This came out of nowhere. I haven't heard anything about them making a new 2D Sonic game. And yeah, I think this looks great. It seems to be taking inspiration from things like New Super Mario Brothers or the new Kirby 2D games and stuff, where it's like you could play with 4 players and it's like obviously that 2.5D style. So that's kind of cool. I think that's something Sonic hasn't done before, and it makes it different from, you know, something like Sonic Mania, which was like, yeah, just like Sonic, actually Sonic 4. This is like, it's like a brand new sort of idea for 2D Sonic. Wow, looking really beautiful. Like, I think it looks great, and just having an identity with it having like co-op and stuff. Unfortunately, it's only local apparently, which is really dumb. But yeah, either way, I think it looks really cool. Apparently it's also worth like $60, which is like a lot. I'm like, that's a lot, but I also feel like I talked about this before, but I feel like if you're really into a genre, you know, like a platformers and stuff, and you want like high production value, I think you just gotta suck it up. Like, you know, things like Ratchet and Clank and Crash 4 and stuff, like I feel like I felt they were worth the $60. And honestly, sometimes I feel like the developers feel like they have to put too much stuff in there until it feels bloated to be worth 60. Like Crash 4 got the complaints of 100%ing it because it just felt too much of a slog, but they wanted to put that content so it felt worth the money, even though I think it didn't really need it. Same with Mario Odyssey. Like, I think like Mario Odyssey put in so much shit where I just felt like it kind of hurt the game at the end, just to make it feel like it's worth $60. And I don't know, I feel like Ratchet Rift Apart just didn't care, and just like, you were just making this really high quality platformer and just like it. I'm like, yeah, and I really did like it. So I don't know. I feel like this game's just a really polished, like, you know, just solid 2D Sonic game. I'm okay with that. Same thing with Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was $60 and it was only like 10 hours. I was okay with that because it was fucking great. So yeah, I think like if the game is good and like it looks great, then I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, for this game's announcement, I was upstairs getting water, and my girlfriend was yelling at me. She was like, Sonic, it's Sonic, come downstairs. But, like, I can't hear her with the fucking headset upstairs. So then when I came down, I was like, what happened? She's like, it's Sonic. I was like, oh, shit. Fucking ran in my seat, fucking sat down, watched, like, the second half of the trailer. And, yeah, like, this game looks fucking great. It's being developed by Sonic Team, apparently, and yeah, I mean, it does seem like a new direction for 2D Sonic, which we have not gotten since Sonic Mania, which might be a little daunting to them, but just because Sonic Mania was like literally perfect. But they're introducing multiplayer. If it has online, I think that would be great because I think a lot of people would enjoy that and really like that. Fun. Yeah, just like having like all 3 of your friends just like play the other Sonic characters, and apparently there's going to be other skins. I wonder if you can switch between the 32-bit to the 3D stuff, or if that's just like part of the story. Fang's gonna be a part of it as well. Fang, I hope that he's like the main antagonist, maybe along with Eggman. But yeah, I mean, like, this seems like a really cool Sonic game. It's been a while since we've gotten like multiple Sonic games like in a row across years that seem to be pretty good. So I hope that this one is able to stick the landing. And obviously, once it comes to 2D Sonic games or Sonic games in general, like, the momentum is going to be in question. Like, a lot of people are wondering, like, is this going to be like Sonic Mania physics? Because if it is, then it's going to be dope. But, you know, this is Sonic Team developing it, and they're going to have like a different physics engine and everything like that. So I hope that it's good, because, you know, that's my skeptical side of Sonic speaking out, just because I've been burnt too many times with this fucking franchise.
Apparently, a lot of the people that made Mania, like, I don't think they're making it, but apparently they could vouch for the physics and stuff. I think Christian Whitehead was like, yeah, it's good. So apparently he said that. But that was my main concern too when I was seeing it. I'm like, this looks good, but it's not made by like Headcanon or whatever. So I don't know how good it's actually going to be. I mean, I'm not one of those weirdo. I'm not like those purist 2D Sonic fans where I'm like, this game has to fucking feel exactly like Sonic 2. Like people complain about classic Sonic and Generations now. I'm like, he felt fine. I don't know. Like we're not big 2D Sonic purists. Like, you know, we grew up with Adventure and stuff, so we don't know as much. But, you know, as long as it doesn't feel like Sonic 4, I guess that's fine. Because even as a casual fan, I'm like, okay, Sonic 4 does kind of feel like ass. So yeah, as long as it feels like Generations, I'll honestly be okay with that. So I'm just happy, like you said, that we're actually getting multiple Sonic games again. Like, I feel like it's been such a long time since we've had like Sonic games yearly or back to back or something. Like it feels pretty good. So hopefully it's good.
Hopefully it's able to stick the landing. It's coming out later this year for the fall at $60, which, you know, may seem a little pricey. So, it is definitely a lot of money for a 2D Sonic game, but I think that if they're putting the effort in and they're putting the production values into there, you know, I'll pay that $60 because I want them to know that we want more games like this. And if we could get a Sonic Superstars 2 within the following years and this game actually ends up being good and successful, then I'm down.
And like I said, I think it's just really cool. We got like 2 big budget 2D, like 2.5D games. Like, I think it's really cool. You know, like same thing with Metroid Dread and stuff. And like, I think there's still room in the market for like big quality, like 2.5D games like this. I think it's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the big thing of the show was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So this is the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake. And yeah, it looks fucking incredible. You know, graphics-wise, it looks so goddamn good. Story-wise, I have no idea what's happening. You know, even though it's a remake, apparently from, like, I've been hearing some insider stuff, people say it's basically its own game now. Like, the first game followed story steps from 7, or the original 7. And this game looks like it's having some story beats from the original 7 as well, because they're going to Cosmo Canyon, doing some stuff like that. But it does seem to be taking like its own spin on it. I mean, this game is basically a sequel to 7. Like, I don't want to spoil too much of what Remake did, but yeah, it's fucking weird. But yeah, I'm just glad. It seems like the combat system is staying the same, which is great. I love the combat in 7 Remake, and it looks like they're taking things from the Integrate DLC, where you could do like sort of like team up attacks with your different party members. I think that's really great as well. I mean, yeah, obviously the game just looks really fucking good. I mean, like, look at it. Look at all my boys. They look great. And I guess sort of the big thing was like it's on 2 discs, apparently. I don't know how big this game is going to be at that point. I mean, Jedi Survivor was like 140 gigs and that was on 1 disc. So that means this game has to be like 300 fucking gigabytes. Like, what the hell are they doing? So I've been reading 2 things. Either this game is ginormous or the game is split into 2 different games. Because, again, it's a thing at the end that could be the case. And my brother brought that up. I'm like, holy shit, you might be right. So whatever they're doing with this game, it's going to be really wacky. But either way, I'm very excited for it. It looks great. I'm happy they're keeping the combat because that combat was super sick. The game is open world, which makes sense because the second half of I guess the main part of Final Fantasy VII is obviously open world. Like, you're going through the different areas of the world and stuff. So just being on chocobos and having different objectives, I think that looks great. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I want to see my girl Tifa again, please.
I mean,
yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I think the fact that the game is going to be on 2 discs is going to be fucking insane, especially for digital buyers. It's going to be like, how big is this fucking game? Like, it's actually,
fucking like 300 gigs.
Yeah, well, no. This game is going to take up your whole memory. You're literally going to have to delete every single game you have on there and then just like download this game, and then you can only play this game until you finish it, which may be for a while, depending on what angle that they're taking with this. But yeah, it does seem like they are fulfilling what people want within this Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, it's it just looks really good, and I'm very excited for it. And I'm happy it's coming out early 2024 because there was rumors that it was supposed to be coming out this year, which I feel like it would have been way too bloated with 16 already coming out. Like, I feel like you should let Final Fantasy 16 breathe by itself for like a year. So yeah, I'm happy it's coming out early 2024. And even though so this hasn't been officially announced yet, but I already saw that Persona 3 is getting a remake and it's also coming out early 2024. So I really hope they're not that close to each other because Jesus Christ, that would be awful. But I want to talk about that until the Xbox showcase because that's when they're actually going to show it. But I'm really excited for that as well. So yeah, great times to be alive.
Atlas intern on the Instagram page is shitting himself right now.
honestly, I'm like, thank you, guy. Like, I appreciate it, but you fucked up. You really fucked up.
You done fucked up, kid.
Right.
But moving on from there, we're going to talk about Marvel's Spider-Man 2 because they did some press around the game with different outlets to sort of talk about how the game's going to work out. And also Summer Games Fest really revealed the release date of October 20th and also confirmed that Venom is not Eddie Brock, which could just be them lying to us. But first, let's just talk about what the game is going to offer. So you can freely switch between both Spider-Man. There's going to be unique missions and unique skill trees between Peter and Miles, and also a shared mission / skill tree thing. And they could not clarify if MJ missions or other characters would be playable. So
I don't like that statement.
Look, the MJ missions are pretty bad, but if they decide to just can them all together, I think everyone will cheer and rejoice. If they have some new character missions, whether that be MJ or not, I'm down with it. But I think that what they're doing for this game, especially with the different trees, the different missions, and sort of being able to switch freely between both Spider-Man, is going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think having like that on the fly switching is going to be really cool to do. Like, I don't know, like how on the fly it's going to be. Like, I don't know if you're like in the open world, you could just be like, all right, Miles, and then you're just fucking Miles now.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty sick. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully the skill trees are pretty pretty robust and different for each other. Like, I'm guessing Peter's gonna have like symbiote skills, and like Miles is gonna have his like Venom powers and invisibility and stuff like he did in the Miles Morales game. So and again, I still don't like how they clarified the MJ stuff. Like, they're not very not confirming or denying it. So I feel like that means it's confirmed, but I don't know. Again, I like MJ in these games. It's just I don't like playing as her. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting stuff for the gameplay. And then they did another article sort of talking about the story. The story will be darker. Obviously, we are dealing with the symbiote, sense, yeah. But it will have heart and humor, just like the previous adventures. Yuri Lowenthal, who's playing Peter Parker / Spider-Man, did do research on like how addiction works and sort of using that to elevate the story. So yeah, and also Insomniac Games did study how previous incarnations of Spider-Man handled the symbiote, which is very exciting because obviously like the symbiote and Venom and like Black Suit Spider-Man are like pretty big within the Spider-Man mythos, and they did a conscious decision to not have the black suit be a suit within the first game because they were like, do we want it to be a cosmetic or do we want to like blow it up into a story? Which I'm fucking glad that they like made those conscious decisions, because it's like any other game studio would have been like, yeah, fuck it, just like put black suit in there. Suit, yeah. But like they love and care for this story and these characters that they're like, all right, we're just gonna do it within the second game. So yeah, I mean, like, them just like talking about the story, even though it's not like, sort of them like outright saying certain things, it just has me excited to see exactly what they have cooking over there,
Yeah, like you said, like they seem to have like a lot of care for this universe and these characters and stuff, and it really shows with like how much care they're putting into this. And I think they're doing really cool stuff with the whole symbiote and Venom stuff. Like, it seems like they want to, they said like they don't want this to be like your standard run of the mill like Venom story, because we've all seen that before. Yeah. So it seems like they really want to make something unique and different, which is really cool. Like, I think the Insomniac universe is pretty cool in general. Like, I think they've done a lot of different stuff, and I'm happy to see how it evolves like from there. Like, honestly, all the Spider-Man media that's been coming out has been like very different, and I just really appreciate that, because there was a time where we just kept saying Uncle Ben died. I'm like, okay, we get it, so I'm happy that they're really branching out to be all these different things that Spider-Man can be. And I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Insomniac Games, they were definitely indeed cooking, and they left some stuff out for the Summer Game Showcase. Like I said, October 20th is the confirmed release date. They showed off new concept art and the box art. They
looks sick.
They keep reiterating this thing is like, it's called Spider-Man 2 because there's two Spider-Man. So obviously they're both on the cover. I did not notice when they first showed it up, but you could see like the symbiote thing run across Peter's arm, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then they clarified the deluxe editions, pre-order bonuses, and of course the collector's edition, which will be $230, and pre-orders are going up next Friday. So yeah, I mean, October 20th, what are your thoughts on that, Damian? I thought it was going to be a November game, if not December game if they needed it, but it seems like that they are pretty ready to release it.
Yeah, from the rumors, apparently people were saying it was September. That's what I was hearing. But I also thought it was gonna be like November, because that's usually when they release these things. But having it October, I'm like, yeah, man, like October 20th. I mean, it's a lot sooner than I thought it was gonna come out, which is fantastic. Because again, like you said, I was betting on a November release date. So having it come out October, that is just so good. I'm very much ready for this game. You know, they said the game is going to be like a lot bigger than the first game. I'm just excited to play as, you know, I'm excited to use new symbiote powers. I'm excited to see how the story is, you know, like Venom looks so sick in this. Like I'm really excited to see how his role plays in all of this. So I'm very excited for this. And like you said, I think the only real improvement I really want from this game is like the open world side activities, right?
Yeah,
like you said, they're okay. They're whatever. So I hope that they improve on those. Like those are my biggest complaint about the first Spider-Man game. But everything else is very fantastic, and to just make it bigger and better, I'm definitely down with that. Also, this collector's edition, again, I was telling Travis before the podcast, it looks so sick. Like, I don't know if I'm about to spend $230 on it. Like, I might. It looks so good. But we'll see.
My only thing with this is that it doesn't come with the physical game, which is a fucking bummer. But
it doesn't. Yeah, that does kind of suck.
Because it's from PlayStation Direct, I know that they're, for the most part, pretty good like getting things out. Because I remember I got a PS5 through PlayStation Direct, and it was at my house within like a day or two. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, the shipping is so fast. And I think it's because they have warehouses within the coast or whatever. So like it doesn't have to ship all the way from like California or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully, because pre-orders for this, along with everything else, are going to go up next Friday at 10 a.m. local time, which means 10 a.m. wherever you are. So apparently it's going to drop 6 separate times throughout the U.S. So if you have like a VPN or whatever and you want to do that, sure. But I'm sure you're going to be paying like up the ass for like fucking shipping or whatever. But yeah, I mean, $230 for this collector's edition is a bit steep, especially since I'm not getting a physical game. But fuck it, I'll do it, and then I'll buy the physical game when it goes on sale or whatever, you know?
we are consumers.
What do you think about the 10 unique suits that come with the deluxe edition?
So are they they're like locked to this digital thing? Yes,
apparently for these suits in particular, they're locked to these digital deluxe editions.
So that's a little unfortunate, because the way Rift Apart did it was that you could get all the suits like in the game. You just got it early. I felt like the probably should. It looks like they're doing that with the pre-order bonuses, but I feel like the digital deluxe having like this is a lot of suits. That are like locked behind this. I think that's a little not great. I think they should have just done it like they did in Rift Apart. But hey, I guess if they wanted the extra money, then go ahead, I guess. But yeah, I still feel like I would have liked it. They did the early unlock thing like they did with Rift Apart. I think that was a good middle ground. But I guess if that's how they want to do it, I guess that's just how they're going to do it.
Yeah. My guess is that this was like a Sony decision. I feel like in some of the games, just like being a little biased here, but I feel like that they would have wanted it to be similar to how they've done the previous releases with like pre-order bonuses and everything like that, where like, hey, you can get them early, but you can obviously unlock them through the game. So the fact that they're giving us 10 suits here, 5 for each Spider-Man, is pretty cool. In my opinion, I think most of the suit designs are kind of underwhelming or not exactly all that hype. But maybe they'll look better in game, because it looks like a lot of these look like sort of just like art. It's not like in-game models, because I know the pre-order bonuses, those look a lot more accurate to like what you would see within the game.
Yeah. I think the Miles ones look better. Like, I think the Peter ones don't look as good. But yeah, it's still, I still feel they probably should have been in the game, like, legit getting them in the game. But
yeah,
I guess what are you going to do?
Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to learn more about this game at least one more time, if not a few more, before the game comes out, which is going to be exciting. But
yes.
Yeah, I mean, just get me to October 20th already. Like, I'm going to request off work for that weekend and everything. Don't bother me. Actually, do not bother me. Right. So now we're going to get into the last part of the show, which may be the biggest. We're going to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk about full spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, just go fucking see it. Just go see it. It's like a masterpiece, a perfect sequel. Yep. Literally everything you can ask for from a Spider-Man film. But yeah, we're just going to talk about the movie freely. So Damian, what did you think about it? Because you saw it most recently out of me. Despite me seeing it 3 times, by the way. I've seen it 3 times. I saw it Thursday night. I saw it Friday, the day after. Then I saw it this past Wednesday.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. I thought it was incredible. Like you said, it feels like a perfect sequel. You know, it just picks up straight from, Spider-Verse 1 or Into the Spider-Verse. And, I think it does a great job just with basically everything. Like, it does a great job with the characters. I think that was my favorite part about the movie, was just like how much time is spent with the different characters and like just seeing how they evolve from the first movie and like all of that personal growth and stuff, and seeing how that goes in the third movie. I'm very excited for. The animation is even more insane than the first movie, which is crazy to me. They do a lot more mixed media stuff, which is like really cool because of all the different dimension hopping and stuff. The only sad part is like it ended. That was the only thing that I didn't like about the movie, that it ended. But yeah, just overall, I think the movie was fantastic. Like, I don't know how I feel if it's better than the first movie right now, just because it's very clearly a part one. I mean, we all knew that it was gonna be a part one, but I still feel like maybe Spider-Verse 1 is like just a bit better, just because it's obviously like a full movie. Like, you're right, it has a beginning, middle, end. This one I'm like, shit, now I need to wait, god damn it. So but yeah, it's still fucking amazing. Like, it's so goddamn good. It's so great that they were able to make such a great sequel, since that was my major concern when they were making this, is if they were able to recapture the same magic of Spider-Verse 1, and they definitely did. I think they did a fantastic job with this, and they just made, I guess, a story like just a coming of age story with Miles into like this whole big multiverse meta thing with like canon and stuff. I'm like, they did it so well, and yeah, I thought it was really good. Just overview thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm literally in love with this film. This shit is so amazing and so good. Like, I really enjoyed seeing it the second time around, just because I was able to pick up on so many more details.
I really feel like I have to watch it a second time.
Yeah,
like,
and like that 2 hour 20-minute sort of runtime, it all three times did not feel like 2 hours at all.
I didn't feel it at all. Yeah, I didn't feel that shit at all.
Yo, like 2 hours just went by. That's crazy. I could go again, honestly, which I did. Yeah. But yeah, I just love everything that this movie does, not just with Miles, but with Gwen. Like, I did not expect Gwen to be such a big character and have her world be so visually pleasing. Like, the way that they captured her look from the comics into animation was beautiful. I fucking loved everything that they did with Gwen, especially since because it seems like that her story reflects of the LGBTQ plus community, because obviously she has like that sign that says protect trans kids, but on top of that, her story of her dad accepting her as Spider-Man is something similar that I think people within the LGBTQ community can also relate to, and I think a lot of people on Twitter have been picking up on that. Whether or not Gwen is trans within the movie, it's just beautiful that they were able to tell this story that can relate to someone that can recognize that as like their own story, because once again, Chris Miller and Phil Lord, they are geniuses. They know what the fuck they're doing. They planted seeds within Into the Spider-Verse that will connect back to this movie. The fact that the 42 Spider, when Miles got bit, you saw the colors change from that first shot of like purple turn into red and blue. And I was like, okay, yeah, like they had a roadmap. They had a roadmap and they knew what they were doing, and they fucking executed it within this film. And yeah, like I just love everything that they did with Gwen's story, because she really is like the main character within this film. Her story has a beginning, middle, and end. Meanwhile, Miles' story, picks up of, like maybe half an hour into the film and doesn't conclude until Beyond the Spider-Verse. And yeah, every single character besides them two are great. I think that the way that they introduced the Spider Society with Jessica Drew and Miguel O'Hara as 2099 Spider-Man, like I think that it was just great, fantastic. I just love everything about the opening sequence.
Yeah, the whole opening sequence that was just focused on Gwen and like her stuff was like really good. Mostly because I didn't expect it. Like, I just expected to just jump right into Miles and stuff.
Yeah.
But having her stuff and her like sort of like backstory stuff with like Peter turning into the lizard and stuff, and like having to confront her dad, like she does that later, but you know what I mean, like like running away and stuff with 2099 Into the Spider Society stuff. I thought all that stuff was done really well. Like you said, I don't know if they are alluding that she's trans, because there's a lot of like signs like in the movie, like both visually and like just there, like just how it is. I don't know if that's what they're really going for, but I don't know if I'm in my own head about it. But like you said, it is a good allegory, which is how she's like, doing all that stuff. Even like the colors is like all like the trans flag colors. So again, I don't know if that's like what they're really going for, but it's working well. So like I guess that's what they're going for. But yeah, either way, I think Gwen is a fantastic character in this movie. And actually, now that you say that, you're right. Like, it does feel like she is the main character of this movie, having her beginning, middle, of end. Because at the end, she's like, yeah, basically like, you know, had her whole thing with her dad and teaming up with all the, I guess, the actual good spider people to help Miles. So yeah. Actually, again, I really need to watch this movie again.
Yeah,
like
this is what happens when you see it 3 times, bro. Like I just see everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I love what they did with Gwen. I think her character was super good in this movie. You know, mostly because I feel like in the first Spider-Verse, it was more focused on Miles and Peter B. Parker, like, you know, their mentorship and stuff. And, you know, the one thing from that movie, I'm like, I wish Gwen was in it more. And this movie is basically just made her the second protagonist. So I think that was done really well. Another thing I really like about this movie is that they don't go into the Spider-Verse like immediately. Like they spend a lot of time with Miles like at home dealing with his home stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, him with his parents and sort of figuring out who he is. He wants to spread out his wings, you know, usually that typical stuff, but it is done really well. And you know, the Spot I think is great. Like I think, you know, he's a great like sort of comedic villain turned into like this crazy fucking like
psycho,
like Eldritch horror thing. But yeah, like the things with Miles and like, you know, him his quiet moments with his you know, with his family and like with Gwen and stuff. I thought that stuff was done really well. It really showed how Miles really improved from the first Spider-Verse. Like he has a lot more confidence now. You know, he's a lot more just confident in his abilities as Spider-Man. And yeah, I just thought that stuff was done really well. And I just didn't expect the movie to like really take its time with that stuff. And you know, I think that's why I love that this movie was like 2 hours long, because like I think it deserved it. You know, when a movie because most animated movies are like an hour and 30 minutes, and I feel like you can't do anything at that time anymore. Like a lot of character moments are the first things to go when you make a movie that short. And I feel like this movie would hurt a lot if you didn't have all those character moments, because I feel like it really hinges on that, you know.
I think that when you're comparing another like animated movie like the Mario movie, you know, there weren't a lot of those like character moments. There was maybe like a few, but there wasn't all that many. This movie, it takes its fucking time in showing you, having these conversations with these characters, whether it's Gwen and her dad or Miles and his family. Like you can see that their relationships are being affected because they're spider people, because of their responsibility to protect the city and be who they are. And I just love that about the film, that they, you know, they are not afraid of just having these scenes and these moments that of them just like talking to each other. You know, like one of the biggest scenes within this movie is when Miles is explained what the Spider-Verse is, you know, having all of those like cameos and sort of those videos of like the other Spider-Man movies. Fucking Spectacular Spider-Man was in there. I was like, yes,
was there.
Let's fucking go. You know what? Sony is using their licenses and what they have up on their arsenal to its biggest effect within this movie. And, you know, I just love that they were able to just take their time, tell the story that they wanted to tell to its fullest extent, even though, you know, this is only part 1 out of part 2. This part 1 is so fucking good. And like, just having, you know, him be Spider-Man and be Miles Morales, and having him go home and, you know, having him fuck up the cake and having him fuck up the guidance counselor meeting and everything like that. I'm like, that's what it means to be Spider-Man, you know. And you see him on that train ride home being like so just like annoyed that like he has to like do these things to, you know, like help you know, stop that guy on that fucking train, or what's it called, with that shoe thief and shit like that, you know. Like you can see that he's like, it would just be so much easier if he just told them. And obviously, you know, Gwen sort of shifts his opinion to be like, don't tell them. But obviously, you know, later on he tells, you know, Earth 42 Rio and instead of his own mom, but that'll prep him when he hopefully comes back home.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just, I really just do appreciate like all those moments. And like you said, with the Mario movie, like I saw the major complaint with that movie was the fast pacing with the Mario movie, and like how they basically had like no character moments at all. It just had to be set piece. You know, that's why I like this movie. Like, you know, it doesn't treat you like a dumb little baby boy. Like you know, it really like, yeah, it has like, you know, it sits you down. Like it has all these good character moments and stuff. And obviously the movie's still like funny and stuff. Like, you know, it's still like has a lot of great jokes and stuff. But, you know, it really takes its time to tell its story and stuff. And I think that's great. Like it doesn't feel like a dumb kids animated movie, right? Like it doesn't feel like it's ever talking down to me or anything. Like it definitely just feels like it's using animation as an art form to like sort of express itself in ways that live action can't, you know. So I think all that stuff was done really well. And yeah, I guess like in terms of like the actual like Spider-Verse type stuff. Spider Society was really cool to see, like you said, like all the cameos are insane. Like I try to keep my eyes really peeled for every cameo I can see, but you can't. Like you have to watch this movie twice.
Yes.
I really have to go by it frame by frame to like see all the different Spider-Man references. But yeah, I noticed the big ones, like obviously like the Insomniac Spider-Man was there. That was really cool to see him there. Spectacular was there. The live action stuff, the fucking Danny Glover as Prowler.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, I'm sorry. Donald Glover as Prowler. Obviously that was in Homecoming, where it's like, oh yeah, look, this is my uncle, and then like, nothing ever came from that. So it was cool to see that fully realized in this movie. That was really cool. So yeah, all those references and stuff was really cool. But again, I feel like the movie wasn't like hinged on that either. Like it's not like this movie needed all those references to be good. Again, I don't know why I keep bringing down the Mario movie, but like it's good. I like the Mario movie, but the Mario movie did feel like, look at that, that's cool, right? Like this movie does that too, but it doesn't feel like it needs that because the story is like good. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate this movie, like of how it handled all its references and cameos as just being like, yeah, the references and cameos, but they're not like a huge like deal, like just like, oh shit, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just to those people that love Spider-Man to really point and be like, oh my god, that's a thing, like fucking the first live action thing, or maybe not the first. The first one was from the convenience store lady from Venom. Yeah, Venom, but the second one was Donald Glover as the Prowler, which if you guys know anything about Miles Morales and his history with from the comic books up until now, it's like, Donald Glover wanted to play a Spider-Man when talks were going around about like who should be the next live action Spider-Man. Donald Glover was like one of the people that was like really adamant about it, and that sort of spawned off into Brian Michael Bendis creating Miles Morales, and that face for Miles within the original run of the comics is based off of Donald Glover, and Donald Glover obviously eventually went on to go and play I think Miles Morales within certain cartoons and things like that, and then obviously he was in the MCU as Uncle Davis, because he's kind of old at this point. But yeah, I mean, like his inclusion within this film, even though it was only for like a short period of time, like it was just so fucking cool. And obviously all of the other ones, Spectacular Spider-Man, I love Josh Keaton so much, and seeing him after the film came out and him going on Twitter and on these live streams explaining like his story and his perspective of like what happened with the deal,
I saw that,
was just so cool, but also like so fucking disappointing with how like Disney and everything handled it. Like he thought he was gonna be within that Avengers crossover, then he watches it and he's like, wait, that's not me. I was like, that's fucked up. That is so fucked up. But yeah, my hopes for season 3 of Spectacular Spider-Man still live on. As much copium as I huff, it probably will never happen. But the day it fucking happens, man, if they do like a fucking Spectacular Spider-Man movie, even to just like close everything off, I don't fucking care. Give me something with Josh Keaton back in that role, because every single time I see him within something Spider-Man related, I just get excited, because he is my definitive version of Spider-Man, voice and everything. Yeah.
So like all those cameos were really good. And I guess that just goes into like also just like I said, like just the animation. Like I really like how they used all the mixed media animation. Yeah, from like the live action, they had like a Lego segment that was really cool. Yeah. They had they just had like whatever Spider-Punk was supposed to be, like that collage effect. So cool. Like that's such a cool effect. So yeah, the animation was just insane. Again, I don't know how they made it better than the original, but the animation was just so good. Just again, obviously from the moments, like just how the thing of Ravi looks, but just from all the other stuff, oh man, it looks so good. Especially like the chase scene when all the Spider-Men are chasing Miles. That whole segment is just so good. Just seeing all the spider people doing their weird shit, like the cowboy Spider-Man has like a pistol web shooter thing. Like it's just really cool to see all these dumb spider people like fight and stuff. So I that segment was really good, and just like just how relentless like 2099 was and trying to get him, like just from changing the canon was like really cool. Also, I just really appreciate how this movie seems to be like this weird meta like narrative thing where it's like no, like Spider-Man has to stick to the canon. There's no, you can't ever change Spider-Man. He always has to have a dead uncle. He always has to have a police chief that's dead. Like, this is just the canon, or else the world will go away. So it's obviously a very meta thing with like Miles being like, well, why does it have to be that way? Why can't people make new stuff? Why can't we do new stories? So and it doesn't feel like ham-fisted either. Like, it's not like so like here's another fucking weird example. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake also does the same thing, but it's handled like a lot poorer than this one. Because 7 Remake does it in a very ham-fisted way, where it's like, okay, I get it. This movie, I feel it feels a lot more natural and just like, obviously it makes sense with multiverse stuff in general, because like Marvel already dabbles a lot into that. But I don't know, I just like the way they're doing it and how like the canon like is like just presented in this being like this ultimate thing where it's like, nah, it doesn't have to be. So yeah, I think that's really cool, most because Miles is always like an enigma in terms of like Spider-Man anyway, so especially this Spider-Verse one, because you know his spider is from a different dimension anyway. So I think that's just a really cool meta way for being like, yeah, Spider-Man stories don't always have to be the same thing all the time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, just going back on the whole, like, animation thing real quick, like, that's the one thing that I can really say that is, like, 100% better than the first movie. The fucking animation is just so good, so amazing. They really take advantage of it being animated compared to, like, what a live-action movie would be, because, you know, one of the first things that I noticed was when Gwen was chasing after that Renaissance vulture was, like, when she jumped from her apartment into the crime scene, they used animation to transition it so smoothly and so effectively for you to probably not even notice that, like, oh yeah, like she probably swung for like probably, you know, a couple more minutes before she actually got there, but they used animation in a way that it just looks so fucking good. And yeah, I mean, just going back to like the whole like canon thing, like the way that they introduce it to us, where it's like, Gwen, watch it, there's a canon event happening, and like they sort of explain it to the audience before we get into that whole like multiverse sort of explanation. And I think that is obviously very meta, but also just like a very good way to like tell this story of Miles Morales, of someone that is like, why can't we just do both? Why can't we just save everyone? And obviously, like, he's still young, he's still, you know, within his infancy as Spider-Man, because within the comics, like literally, like his mom dies to Venom, and it's like so insane and so crazy. Obviously, like his uncle his uncle is gone too, but you know, a bunch of other shit was going on within that iteration of the character, that it's like this version of you know, Miles is like, well, if his parents are alive, you know, he's like happy-go-lucky, you know, he loves being Spider-Man, and it's like, do they have to break him? Do they have to, you know, have all of these like tragic events happen for him to be Spider-Man? Not necessarily. And I think that the way that they explain the canon events by using Spider-Man India as like the first sort of like event to show like it has to stick with the canon or else the universe is going to fall apart, and having 2099's character sort of be proof of that, you need to follow the canon or else everything's going to shatter, is like so good to have him be like the opposite side of Miles. You know, obviously that one part after they send Gwen back home, they're like, we're the good guys, all right? And I'm like, okay, bro, all right.
What did he say, man?
You know, it's just like the whole canon stuff is just like so insane. And it's also very funny how people are misinterpreting what like a canon event is. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a fucking death, you know. It can also be something like Spider-Man kissing Mary Jane, or like obviously the spider biting them, you know, like those aren't necessarily bad things to happen, but those are events that happen within almost every iteration of Spider-Man as a character thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely guessing like they're not gonna break I hope they don't, like in the next movie. But it's probably gonna be because, you know, Peter B. Parker had a great like sort of speech with Miles being like, yeah, like I wouldn't have a kid or I wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for you. So like they're basically alluding to the fact, same thing with Gwen, like Gwen wouldn't be the same person without Miles at this point. Yeah. So I guess they're both saying like, yeah, like breaking the canon is like, yeah, it's like okay, like they're clearly fine at the moment. So like, yeah, I think like these things could happen in this universe and things will be fine. And I think that's probably what's going to end up like being the main thing at the end of the movie, or at the end of the trilogy, is being like, yeah, you could break the canon and like nothing, like it will be fine. So because you know, Peter B. Parker and Spider-Gwen both like shown that, yeah, it's fine, because Miles both, you know, Miles isn't from their dimension and they influence them, but like a lot. So yeah, I think that's just a way of showing that as well. Yeah,
because it's like, you know, Mayday as like a fucking, you know, cute baby. That was great. I fucking loved her. Yeah. I did not know about the mask part. Yeah,
the hat thing. Yeah,
that was so cute. I was like, man, I fucking love this character. We need more of her. But
yeah, we need more like baby spiders.
But yeah, you know, just like his one-on-one talk with Miles, you know, even though that was like his one like big scene, you know, Peter B. Parker definitely took a backseat within this film, but I think that it was for the better because this is Miles' story now, and having him sort of still play that mentor figure within that one scene where he's like trying to like explain to him like, I had Mayday because you're a good kid and I wanted to have a kid just like you, and I'm like, that's fucking crazy. And even with Spider-Gwen, it's not just the fact that, you know, she's friends with Miles, it's also the fact that when she left, her dad quit the Force. So now he's not going to die within that freak accident as being captain. So, you know, and she was like completely fine with that happening because obviously, you know, she was not on good terms with her father. But because she left, she also broke the canon in some regards as well. So, you know, obviously, like, you know, canon events and everything like that. It's honestly, the more I talk about it, the more confusing it kind of gets. So I'm going to talk about, honestly, probably the highlight for a lot of people's character within this movie, which was fucking Spider-Punk. You know, he wasn't in the film for a whole lot, but, you know, Hobie Brown was like the GOAT. Daniel...
He was the GOAT, yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya, you know, he is perfect in this fucking role. Every single line that he did was awesome, amazing. I loved this version of Spider-Punk, which apparently is very close to the comics. I read one issue of Spider-Gideon, which was like a Spider-Verse sort of like crossover thing that they did after Spider-Verse came out. The first one anyways. And I read that issue and I was like, yes, Spider-Punk seems pretty cool. But I didn't know that he was like, you know, this sort of like rebellious guy and sort of just like did not give a fuck about the system and everything. So yeah, you know, I just love this character and I hope that we get more of him along with all of the other Spider people within the next film.
Yeah, it's actually crazy because during the press talk, they were saying like, oh, there was going to be like this weird love triangle between Gwen, Miles, and him. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of dumb. And then it just didn't do that, which is great.
Yeah.
Like he was just a homie the whole way through. Like he just helped Miles because like throughout the whole movie, he was just like, you know, he's like, yeah, screw the establishment, screw Spider Society. like he's like, yeah, you gotta use your palms when you're using your Venom powers. Or like he gave, you know, gave them the his bootleg like dimension hopper thingy as well. So yeah, he's just a homie the whole way through. His performance was great as well. Like, and again, like I said, animation on him so good. Like I love his weird animation style is so good. So yeah, he was a highlight. Yeah. Apparently
he's like animated differently as well, like 2s, 3s, or whatever I saw on Twitter. It was like he was like animated like differently, so like when you saw like the different effects happening on him, you know, it just looked cooler. So
this is crazy, man. They put so much effort into this fucking movie.
Yeah, which is why like when I hear the fact that it's coming out at the end of March in 2024, I'm like, is that actually gonna make it? Because I'm like,
well, apparently they were making this at the same time because it was supposed to be one movie and then they split it. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that much because they were making this at the same time because it was supposed to be one big movie and then just like, yeah, we could just split it, so that's fine. So yeah, that doesn't really surprise me that it's gonna come out sooner than we think because it was already like being made. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just hope that they're able to stick this landing, and
I hope so too. Yeah,
this will literally be the best superhero trilogy that we've had so far, which is like
I agree.
Insane to say. You know, I'm like a huge Spider-Man fanboy, but I really believe that this is like the greatest superhero thing we've ever gotten in like a while. And the fact that the first movie did not do so well within theaters, but they took the chance to make a sequel for it, and after it went on Netflix, it's doing so fucking well. I'm a little surprised at how well it's doing, just because, you know, when you look at the raw numbers of Into the Spider-Verse, it's like it was the worst performing sort of Spider-Man movie by far. And it's because it was animated, because there was that stigma at that time where it was like, it's animated, so it's for a kid, you know, like it's not meant for us. But like in reality, it was meant for everyone, you know, like just like with Spider-Man, anyone can fucking wear the mask and anyone should watch these movies because they're so fucking good for kids, adults, and everyone alike. So yeah. You know, the fact that it's breaking, you know, box office numbers and everything like that, fucking go for it. I am excited to see what they have within this third film, which, you know, apparently not every single Spider-Man person is in this movie. So I hope that within Beyond the Spider-Verse, we get some pretty crazy cameos and some big surprises that will leave fans, you know, happy.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see in the third one. I'm happy to see like the OG people from Spider-Verse 1. Like we saw Spider like Ham and like Spider Pig and Penny Parker and like you know, Spider Noir and stuff. Yeah, so it's gonna be cool to see them there again. But yeah, and then I guess we could just talk about like the twist ending, or not twist ending, but just the cliffhanger.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He got transferred into the dimension where his spider came from, but that's not his dimension, because you know obviously his spider was got transferred into Miles's dimension, and this universe has like no fucking Spider-Man because of that.
Yes.
So fucking Miles is the Prowler in that universe, and Miles is just stuck there with like kilometers like fucking per hour Miles. So yeah, it's such a great cliffhanger. Like, it's good, but my theater was like, oh, like they're all like, that was a to be continued. Like, what the fuck? And so it was definitely a crazy cliffhanger, and I'm really interested to see how they balance 3 antagonists at this point. I mean, they have the Spot still, they have like kilometers over here, and we got like 29 still. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they balance all 3 of those villains, plus, well, not villains but antagonists, and all Miles' stuff. So yeah, I'm very, like you said, I hope they stick the landing, because like you said, this will be like my favorite Spider-Man thing ever. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite animated things ever. Like, not even a question at this point. Like, this movie blows away anything I've seen animation wise, at least in terms of like Western animation. And in terms of Spider-Man stuff, like, yeah, man, I don't fucking know. It might be my favorite thing.
Yeah, this shit is so good.
Honestly, I also think this does all the cameos and multiverse stuff a lot better than No Way Home, now that I think about it, because I feel like I love No Way Home, right? Like, but I feel like it's definitely something that you would fully appreciate if you watched Spider-Man, like the OG Sam Raimi Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man, because I feel like a lot of the moments won't hit you as hard. This one I feel like does a great job just being its own standalone thing while having a lot of references and stuff, and it doesn't feel like essential to like the plot or anything. So yeah, I think this movie just does that stuff like just a lot better. And again, I love No Way Home, but yeah, man, this is peak, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, I was giddy when I saw Andrew Garfield in
I was too. Yeah,
Across the Spider-Verse. I was like, holy fuck, like that is so cool that they're like showing live action footage like that. But
yeah, with Toby and Uncle Ben too. I can't look at that scene anymore because I just laugh because all the memes.
But yeah, I mean, this film definitely does stand on its own really, really well. Not to say No Way Home doesn't in its own right, but I think you could fully appreciate it if you've watched all of those films with Sam Raimi and Mark Webb's vision in mind. But yeah, with the whole Earth 42 thing, that whole big ass plot twist that really happened, and halfway through that scene, I was kind of picking it up because I was like, isn't her eyes not green? I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Damn, bro, you're really analyzing. I knew something was wrong, but
bro. I saw it the first time and like I wasn't like sure. So when I saw it the second time, I was like, her eyes are different. I was like, her eyes are fucking green. And also the bedroom is different. It's like so much more depressing, because like that one scene where like Gwen takes out the action figure, I was cringing. But I was like, oh no, she's taking it out of the box. But that shit is not there because obviously like his dad dying within that universe, which apparently on IMDb is called Miles G. Morales, and it's played by a completely different voice actor as well, which is why he's able to, say his name slightly differently because of the influence from his mom. But that whole twist was fucking great. I think that the whole movie was building up to that just because they had this whole emphasis of like, the spider isn't from your dimension. So when he tries to go back home and it reads his DNA as Earth 42, I was like, oh fuck. Like that was so good. And like if you watch the movie again, Damian, like you will see within the beginning when the Spot is explaining the spider transporting out, you see Miles there with his fucking dreads and everything. I was like, shit. Oh my god. And also when our Miles goes into the machine, it shows Earth 42. But when I was watching it, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, you didn't pick it up.
Yeah, because like when Emma rewatched it with us Wednesday, she was like, oh shit, it says Earth 42. I was like, yeah, that's fucking great. like they're literally showing us everything, but literally that final section, the whole third act was just so good in being its own plot twist. And I think that is such a good way to really show like what this effect of this spider going not from Earth 42 but going to 1610 and sort of how that all played out, because that could have been like a whole plot hole in and of itself to be like, oh, like we just had the spider come from another dimension to set up all of the Spider-Verse stuff. But it actually has a part within telling the story. Like these fucking geniuses and Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Yeah, my apologies, I fucking like combined their names together, but they are just geniuses. They knew exactly what they were doing with these films, and this whole last act with showing Miles G. Morales and having Miles sit there in the tied up thing, but from his encounter with Peter B. Parker, he's gonna do some crazy shit. with watching the hands and everything like that. So
it's always the washing the hands. Yeah, I just thought I love how they just made Prowler into such like a threat in like both this and like, you know, because I feel like Prowler, you know, obviously is such a big part of Miles' story. So I'm happy that they've been doing him justice like lately. So yeah, that's really good. Also, his suit looks sick. Like I like his Prowler suit. But yeah, it's really good. I'm very excited for the third movie. Like you said, all they gotta do is stick the landing, and then we're good, dude. Then the next movie is gonna be fucking insane. So, and the fact that we don't have to wait too much longer for it, it just makes it better. I mean, if they delay it, I wouldn't be like mad or anything.
I wouldn't be mad either.
They could take their time. I'm sure it would be amazing either way. But yeah, just take your time with it. I'm very excited for it. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. Now after all of this, I'm like, fuck, I need to watch it again. I feel like I barely got half of it at this point.
No, literally after I saw it a second time, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I went to work and I was talking it with one of my coworkers. Shout out Chris. He's a big like film buff. Like he's going to school for film. So when I was talking about the movie with him, like we were just like gushing over it. Like we were just talking about it for like during most of our shift, and I was like, fuck, I have to see it again. And I was going to see it Tuesday, but my car had a flat. So I was like, I'll just stay home, whatever, you know, like this is the universe telling me today, stay home. So, but it actually ended up working out because, you know, I saw it Wednesday with all of the boys and Emma again. So, but do you have any complaints? Because I know that some people have issues with how certain spider people were portrayed.
Oh, that I don't, but I saw it. One thing I noticed is the movie was like kind of quiet. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, okay,
I heard
That's been a common thing, yeah.
I heard some complaints about that. And I noticed it the most during the first bit with Gwen, like the first segment with Gwen. I'm like, why is it so fucking low? Like, I can't hear shit. Like, I thought like our theater was messed up, but I've been hearing like, it was just like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. It got better as soon as I went to Miles. Like, it sounded a bit better. But the sound mixing was kind of weird in general. Like, I don't know why, like some scenes felt really quiet and I couldn't really hear what they were saying. So, that was really my major complaint. I don't know what was wrong with the sound mixing, but yeah, in terms of like other spider people, I don't know. Did you feel that same way? By the way,
I mean, with the theater thing first up, it actually happened within my third viewing. I was like, oh shit, like this is what people are talking about. It happened when 2099 was talking about the kid on 99999 or whatever. Like obviously, like we all know that line from the trailers, but it like got quiet and then it rose up again. I was like, well, what the fuck just happened?
It was weird.
But yeah, apparently it happened with a lot of people on there watching for that first part of the movie, anyways. But I mean, when it comes to how the spider people were portrayed, I mean, I get it. You know, a lot of Scarlet Spider and Ben Reilly fans are not happy with how that character was portrayed as like a more like joke character, which is understandable because like that character sort of gets shafted overall at Marvel. So maybe Across the Spider-Verse could redeem that within some regard. People did not like Spectacular Spider-Man not siding with Miles, but Josh Keaton went on like a stream and like talked about it for a bit, and I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. Pretty much he said like, you know, after everything that's happened with Spectacular Spider-Man and everything like that, you know, where he was within his career as like being still like a fucking high schooler and everything like that, you know, like why would he not trust these, you know, adults and sort of these like older Spider-Man people telling him what to do kind of thing, you know? So I understand that perspective. I didn't, honestly, other than like how certain spider people were portrayed, which isn't like a huge thing for me, this is like a perfect film. Like I fucking love this shit. Like honestly, after we watched it, Jeffrey was like, I could go see it again. I was like, same, because the 2 hours felt like not 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, like just talking about some other news and things like that. So during, I guess, like a Variety interview, they are talking about Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. That is being worked on. A Spider-Woman movie is coming soon. And a live-action Miles Morales is on the way as well. So, I mean, yeah, Spider-Man fans just keep winning. I mean, this is obviously under the helm of Sony and everything like that. So we do have to take everything with a grain of salt to a certain extent. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they have cooking over there, just because I feel like now that like we have all of this stuff with Sony, I feel like it was actually best that they didn't give up the film rights for, you know, for everything to happen with the MCU and whatnot. So
yeah, I just feel like Sony is such a wild card. They can either make the best thing ever or fucking dog shit. Like I feel like there's no middle ground. I feel like the MCU is definitely like more of a like things could be good or like mediocre, and more because they have so much more control on their projects for the MCU. I feel like there's a lot less freedom they could do. I feel like Sony does actually allow a little more freedom for people to go a little crazier, and I also like Lord and Miller are also just like fucking amazing in general. So like I feel like they were just gonna make. I mean, they make so much good shit. Like there's no doubt that this thing was gonna be great regardless. Because they just respect animation so much, and the writing is really good as well. So but yeah, I feel like this would have never happened if Spider-Man was like fully like MCU. They would have just kept him the live action and that's it. Even though I think Spider-Man is like has so many roots in like different media and stuff that keeping him like just in live action I feel would be a mistake. And I think these movies really showed like how much animated Spider-Man could be just fucking amazing. So yeah, like you said, I really have zero complaints. And I, if you want to do live action Miles, I'm definitely down for that as well. I mean, obviously, if it is going to be a Sonyverse thing, a little concerning, but we'll see how it turns out. I won't ever say no unless the movie comes out like Morbius and like, yeah, that's bad. But yeah, in terms of Spider-Verse, this was a fantastic sequel. It was everything I wanted and more. It's like surpassed all my expectations. I'm just waiting for that third movie before I can say like, yeah, this is, you never know, you never know. But, I have like a lot of faith. I have like 99% faith that the third movie is going to be excellent and we're going to get a great end of this trilogy. So, yeah, Lord and Miller did a great job. This is so good. After everything Travis just said, definitely gonna try and watch it again. I'm gonna drag someone that hasn't watched it again, unless my brother wants to watch it again. But we'll see. But I need to see.
Yeah, no, it is definitely worth a rewatch, at least one rewatch, and then the more you talk about it with other people, you're gonna want to watch it again. So but Beyond the Spider-Verse is confirmed to be the end of this trilogy of films, which is good. I don't want them to continue going if they have no other story, especially because it seems like that they literally planned all this shit out. So, if they don't have a plan past this, then shit, don't make any more. And Shamik Moore is interested in playing a live action Miles Morales. Whether he is going to be the star of that live action Miles Morales movie, who knows? I think that he should have a fair chance at it, but I think because of his relationship with Sony, it could hinder that a little bit. Maybe have him be a little more favored in it. I know people are throwing around. I think his name is Miles Brown.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because he is Afro. Latino, I believe that's what it's called. What's the proper term of it is, and also his name is fucking Miles. So I mean, I wouldn't mind, and like he
looks like Miles.
He is down to play that role. He's been dying for it ever since he was younger. So I mean, I think that is like one of the top like fan casts. But if Shamik Moore wants to do it, I think people clowning him on Twitter because he's like too old or whatever is very funny. But at the same time, it's like Andrew Garfield was like 28, 29 when he was playing Spider-Man as well. So, if he wants to play Spider-Man 29 going on into 30, then sure, fuck it, why not? If the direction is like a much older Miles Morales, that can be cool as well. But, leave the man alone. If he wants to at least try for it, he can try for it,
I do think it is cool that we have like so many spider people now that you can have people that are like not white or whatever. Obviously, like when I was younger, but I want to be Spider-Man or whatever. But I think now like having like like a black Spider-Man and stuff is like, I think that's really cool for more people to be like, yeah,
Spider-Woman,
Spider-Woman with Spider-Gwen. Like, hopefully this movie also opens up more Spider-Gwen stuff as well, like more than there is, because I think she was fantastic in this movie, like we both said. So it'd be cool if we got more stuff like like how we had the Revolution with Miles content. I hope we have something similar with Gwen, because I think obviously I like Gwen Stacy in general, but just having her be more like important and like have more Spider-Gwen stuff, I think that'd be sick. And yeah, again, there's more like diversity and stuff. I think that's always great because like they said in the first movie, just whoever wears the mask, you're Spider-Man or woman. So yeah, Spider people, it's great. So yeah, I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just love this film. I love it so much. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I go see it a fourth time, but I probably won't because that's gonna be like 3 hours out of my day gone. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add, good Sam?
No, I think that's everything. I think we gushed about this movie for like 30 minutes, or 20 minutes.
I think we got everything. Despite my notes being very detailed, we kind of just went on and on, which is fine. That is fine. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have for today. That's all we have for today.
That's all I have. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to the Travis and David podcast, episode 114. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.